it'll be critically important that he may spend some time in the midfield as well.
Yeah, I just love watching Dylan. His work rate is super high. He's a player that can go into the middle and help out where possible and flash forward. So again, a really impactful player. And you mentioned the two keys down back. I'm really interested to see Sicily. Obviously, we can only assume that he'd been carrying an injury throughout the year, but the absence of him may allow those two to be able to play a bit more of a natural game and not have three tools competing to intercept the ball.
What specifically do you want to see from Battle and Barras? Because they've both been a little bit disappointing. Battle's been playing deep. Yep. There's only really one key forward for the Bulldogs tonight, Aaron Norton. How does that play out?
Well, I want to see Barras. I want to see him play deep. I want to see him shut out
Barras to Norton.
I think that's the opportunity that lies in front of Tom Barras, and he's an negator. He's not someone that is so much you want ball in hand and setting the tone of your attack from D50, but you leave that up to Josh Battle, who reads the game really well, intercepts, and is really is clean hand to foot.
Spoke last week to a couple of the guys that did the Hawthorn game last week. Spoke with Joe Newcomb and said, I don't want to see the Hollywood Hawks. I want to see the uncompromising, ruthless Hawks that we've seen.
Hawks.
The hard Hawks. We need that tonight from them. The supporters need that tonight from them.
And I think these two blokes here could actually set that standard in terms of what they do behind the ball, that physical prowess behind the ball. I want to see a couple of 20-metre spoils. They just haven't fitted into the system of Hawthorn yet. Tom Barras, tough player to play on Hawk when playing deep.
Yeah, really tough, strong, he's quick. He's a player that intercepts the game and reads the ball in the air really well, generally quicker than his opponent when he's at his best. So, a high-quality, high-calibre player that they've brought in. It's having a real impact.
So who wins tonight, boys?
And I think the Bulldogs, as I said, I think they're on the podium at the moment as the best teams in the competition. They should have beaten Geelong a couple of weeks ago. They had a nice little rest. Hawks are starting in good form right now, so doggies for mine.
Yeah, I think you're right, Moons. I think on paper the Dogs look the strongest team. But if I can see enough hunt, enough physicality, enough tackling pressure out of the Hawks, I absolutely give them a chance. They've brought a young side here tonight, and I'm eager to see what energy that brings.
Well, Dogs for me, the game isn't far away. We're going to head back upstairs to Mark Howard, who's going to be calling all the action.
Thanks, Jack. Got Dwayne Russell beside me tonight. The Hawks, they sit sixth on the ladder, but they've dropped the last three. The Dogs, ninth, but they lost their last start against the Cats. They're coming off the bye. They are the highest scoring team in the comp, the Dogs. So they'll bring it. Can the Hawks keep up? Thursday night footy coming up live after the break.
You're watching Thursday Night Footy on Fox. Brought to you by the new Ranger plug-in hybrid.
If you want to do something.
All right, folks, welcome in. It's Thursday night football. We've got a big match on here this evening. Yo, Eddie G, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Tell you what, this is going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game tonight. I tell you what, the Western Bulldogs in scintillating form should be absolutely fantastic. Who's going to win? Well, that's a good question. Who's going to win? I'm going to stick the poll up in just a moment, and everyone can have a vote who they think. But you know what? My selection tonight is, of course, the Western Bulldogs. Let's have a look at their ins and outs, folks. Let's have a look at their ins and outs for the Western Bulldogs. Coming in, Adam Treloar back. Wow, he's going to add some dynamic speed around the midfield for the Doggies. Josh Dolan coming in. Ryan Gardner also coming in. Going out, Oscar Baker, Jason Johannesson, he'll be sadly missed, Taylor Duria. And, of course, for the Hawks, Max Ramsden comes in. Seamus Mitchell, Sam Butler. Good to see Sam Butler back in the team. Wow, have a look at these outs, folks. Have a look at, of course, Josh Doolan is the sub for the Dogs. Have a look at these outs for Hawthorn, though. James Sicily, who's been out of form. Nick, the no-wizard Watson, comes out. He's out of form. Tell you what, there we go. They've kept him silent. He's been kicked out. He was going to be sub late last week, kicked a goal and saved his own skin. Jack Scrimshaw coming out. Giant is the sub. Wow. There's some big outs for Hawthorn. But I'll tell you what, when when some of these players get booted out, I need to just bring the ladder up. Hang on, there we are. When some of these players get kicked out of the team for a week, it certainly can spark them up. Hawthorn Western Bulldogs, let's have a look where they sit on the ladder. Of course, there is Hawthorn sitting 6th on the ladder, 28 points. They're a game out of the top 4 plus percentage. And of course, for the Western Bulldogs, they're a game out of the top 8. Good percentage, so if they win tonight, the Western Bulldogs, they will in fact jump up into 6th position, pushing Fremantle out of the top 8, Adrian. Think Bulldogs, but I think the Hawks will give it a good crack. There we go. Western Bulldogs got a fantastic percentage there. It's about the 5th best percentage in the competition. Holy moly, teams better look out for the Western Bulldogs because they are coming. There is your odds, the Western Bulldogs, of course. 133 to win the match tonight. The Hawks, 334, big underdogs. I can understand why, because I think, well, let's just say, I think the Western Bulldogs will give Hawthorn a fair bit of a touch-up there tonight out there. And I think this could, we thought this was a bit of a margin last week. I think this could be a bigger margin this week. I think the Western Bulldogs will put Hawthorn to bed, and I think they'll just turn the lights off and run away. I think it's a big win coming up for the Western Bulldogs, but you just never know. Hawthorn are a pretty good side. They've been out of form. They just need to get a few things right. And, of course, with the inclusion of 2 or 3 different players in their squad, well, it just might make the difference that Hawthorn need. You just never know, folks. But it's going to be a fantastic, as I said, it's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. We are only a minute away before this game gets underway because the players are out on the ground. They're milling. They're taking their positions. Just about taking their positions. 2.5 minutes before the bounce of the ball. Addy G thinks the Bulldogs. I'll tell you what, if the Bulldogs do happen to win, that's going to push Fremantle to 9th position, which probably isn't good for you. But there we go. Fremantle they've got a bye this week. Don't forget, folks, matches coming up in round 13. Tomorrow night, Adelaide taking on the Brisbane Lions, Friday night football. Saturday, Richmond taking on Sydney. Geelong taking on the Gold Coast, which is going to be a cracking game. And then Saturday night, GWS Giants taking on Port Adelaide. Of course, Sunday, North Melbourne taking on West Coast Eagles. Fantastic game. Carlton taking on Essendon, the old rivalry. And, of course, Melbourne taking on Collingwood in front of a 90,000 crowd on King's birthday on Monday. That should be a fantastic game. But tonight's game, that's what we're here for. And, of course, that is the Western Bulldogs taking on Hawthorn. Can the Dogs keep their run rolling, or can the Hawks, get off to a start and actually put a bit of consistency about there and get their game plan working a little bit better? Hey, folks, that's enough from me for talking at the moment. Don't forget, put your vote in. Who you think's going to win? We're undecided at the moment. It's 50-50, Hawthorn and the Bulldogs. Bianca, shouty. Good luck, the Hawks. Good luck. I tell you what, I hope they put in a good effort tonight. They've got a tough team to play against the Western Bulldogs. Let's hope it's a close game. I would love this to come down to the final kick, and good luck to the better team on the night, but I'd love this to be a super-duper close game. Fantastic for both teams. It'd be good. All right, that's enough of me for now. We'll see you at quarter time. Let's head down to the ground. They're about to bounce the ball. Good luck, both sides.
Historically, Geelong never did it that well, but sometimes the continuity of having 6-day breaks is actually nice. I mean, Hawthorn wouldn't have wanted too long between games with the way that they played last week.
All right, we're all set here. Thursday night football round 13 kicks off. Sam Mitchell looking to break a run of 3 losses. The Dogs had a bye and were rolled by the Cats in a high-scoring affair. All set to go. Nice crowd in under the roof here at Marvel Stadium. It's the Bulldogs taking on the Hawks on Thursday night football. Meek, reprieve during the week, up against English. Warple and Liberatore are in there. English gets the leap, straight down to Ward, back out to Meek. There's a fresh air. Liberatore, as he so often is, Down at ground level, Newcomb. Early clearance to D'Ambrosio. Winds one inside 50. Child brings it to ground level. There is Ginnivan. He might have got one high. He has.
Yeah, good work there by Marbiel Cho early. Just bringing the ball to ground. That's all he's got to do. We know Hawthorn have got so many dangerous small forwards, even with the Wizard Watson out tonight. This man here, he's one of the best at drawing that free kick for high contact. That was definitely there.
We mentioned that he was on 99 career goals, Ginnivan. Kicked 3 last week for the perfect start for the Hawks. Directly in front. Ginnivan steers it home, kicks the Hawks first, and a bit of a celebration for his 100th. And the Hawks are away.
Beautiful finish by Jack Ginnivan in the game early. He was busy last week, which we love. We love seeing Jack Ginnivan involved and in the game and at his best. He's got so much to offer. I think the thing I like about that passage of play, Jack, was that Jai Newcomb, Ward, D'Ambrosio, all involved in extracting the ball on the inside, getting it on that outside and getting it in. And you know, as you mentioned, a great contest by Marbiel. And that's all we needed from him tonight. You know, the marks, the high-flying efforts are a bonus, but if he can bring it to ground and bring those at his feet into it, that's an important role he plays.
Dwayne, you're good at deciphering what the celebrations are. What was that one there from Ginnivan?
I'm normally really good at deciphering them when Jack Ginnivan tells me pre-game what he's going to go with, but I think that's take my picture. I reckon that one is, as Ward tries to get it out of the middle. English had it, lost it, left it behind. Liberatore missed his shoe. Ginnivan slips it up. Ward, they're out of the middle again, the Hawks. Heads inside 50. Now there's a shove. Chol gave the free kick away. It's to Cleary, who gave the free kick away to Ginnivan moments earlier.
Marbiel Chol's looking shiny with the oil on there. Just have a free kick for too high.
He's gone out in respect of Tom Hawkins, who used to go pretty heavy in the oil as well, to be fair. So Kennedy marks on the wing. He's been a great recruit down in Norton. First look at it for the Dogs. Were you a baby or a man? What'd you go with, Hawk?
I'm not sure what they ran, Harry, but there was none at Beaufort on the weekend.
Richards goes inside to the champ, Bontempelli. Well worked. Right on 50, Bontempelli. 8 goals for the season.
He's sort of hesitating here, Marcus Bontempelli.
He lays it off. The Hawks come, but English is too big and strong and marks.
Yeah, great chemistry between English and Bontempelli there. Big Tim went to the top of the square and just found his way through the congestion, and Marcus just puts it into the space, as we can see there, and Big Tim gets at it and shows a bit of aggression on the way through.
2023 All-Australian ruckman Tim English. 5 goals for the season for the quick response for the Bulldogs. Towards the Dogs cheer squad. Deliberate approach, just tugs it.
You mentioned he was All-Australian 2023. Went from All-Australian in 23 to missing the top 10 in the Dogs BNF last year. So depends on which English we get for the rest of the year as to what kind of year maybe the Dogs have. Newcomb, just a little hesitation step, rolls it past a couple. There's Ramsden in the 38. Beaten for it by Frazier, goes all the way back to Lobb. We're in the freeze, MND blue here. Dale down the spine, horrible cut off, might still work. Bontempelli feeds it. Newcomb cuts it off. Shrugged an attempted tackle from Richards. Heads back inside 50 over the top and marked again by O'Donnell, so they save the day. And he holds it up at full back.
Immediately clears to the outer side. It's a long ball. 3 Hawks provide the spoil. Back to Ginnivan, started brightly with the opener. Moore gives up ground. Hardwick just marks it off the turf.
It's a part of the game that the Hawks are really good at, getting it from D50 to forward 50. It's just that cream and finishing.
Through the hands of Amon, one of their better players this season. Morrison's had his best year for the club as well. Just in front of the interchange bench. Lobs playing spare down back. He'll come at this one now, Rory, but out in front, Big Lloyd with a powerful mark.
Tim English got caught on the mark. And push forward there, Meek. Got a nice mismatch. Rory Lobb was the spare. He was probably the one that needed to go to Lloyd Meek and actually free up Bailey Dale. It's a really good contested mark.
6 goals for the season. Reasonably accurate kick. There's the ruckman. From 50. Good looking effort. Just fades late.
And Treloar back into the lineup for the Dogs. First game back from that calf issue.
It didn't look good either, Treloar.
So have a chat downstairs with Cam Mooney shortly about the body language. Vandermeer, nice grab. Used his body well. Inside kick to Kennedy. Fortune might favour the Brave here. The Dogs into the corridor. Kennedy protected by the bont. Lob. Floats it wide. It's a 2-on-1. And he kicks it to one of the two. Nash.
Keep an eye on Treloar. Had calf issues, came back, went back out with a calf, so hopefully that's not an issue. There is Butler back in the side. Ginnivan. He's got a man out the back in Chol. Marbior marks.
Ron Coldhawk. He was there for a good 15 seconds, Marbior Chol. Forwards generally find another gear going towards goals, don't they?
We do, Jack. We absolutely do. But he has got a high work rate. I mean, you've played with him. It must be something that he's developed over the time that he's been in the game. Clearly, that comes with experience and time in it as a key forward. But is it something he's always had?
I think his work rate back to goals, something he's always had.
He's a laconic kick for goal is Marbior Chol. Just eases in and squeezes it home. Enjoyed it. Opening 2 for the brown and gold.
Well, he spoke about his work rate, and it's something that he's grown into, I think, early days from what he was. But he's always had a really good kick. He's always had a really good kick for goal. He's an important piece to the Hawthorn puzzle because they don't have that bona fide key forward at the moment. Jack Gunston's still playing sort of medium style forward here, but the turnover came from Connor Nash, and the speed on the ball, as soon as you get a quick turnover like that, Hawk, as a forward, you just want them to turn and go and get it back inside 50.
Yeah, and they did, and they didn't see him early, but eventually got the ball to him in a really dangerous position in the ground. So just on the Bulldogs slide, Jack, they're clearly, they've been advised to take the game on. They're taking some risky options back through the middle and some turnovers, but it's been well advised that to take your kicks through the middle.
Doesn't look good. We'll head down to Cam Mooney shortly to get an update on Treloar's issue. And we hope it's not calf. Kennedy caught, got it away just in time. Vandermeer Liberatore feeds it further on. McNeil cut off. They are swarming the Hawks. Started this game well. Ball up. Cameron Mooney downstairs.
Yeah, just his left knee at the moment, Dwayne. He just landed on it. He looked like he was going to get some padding put on it, but he's told the physios to go away. So he looks fine. I think he's ready to go.
Good news if it's not a calf. Meek.
I already start to see the Hawks just a little bit more ferocious around the contest with their tackles.
And tackling and pressure's been down the last couple of weeks. Bombed out towards the wing. Lob with the MND hair. Hold under Rory. Battles away with Gunston. Tries to keep in front of it. O'Donnell now caught in a good tackle.
There's Treloar just looking as if he might be okay. Josh Dolan the sub for the Dogs. Jaku Jaff the sub for the Hawks, who are at half forward. Big pack around this. Umpire circling and we'll sort it out. Hardwick starting back for the Hawks in this one as well, as Sam Mitchell told us on Fox Footy pre-game. Williams, bottom belly, got his arms free. Looped it to English. Back to Williams. Nice handoff. Richards in superb form, all Australian form. Through hands. Vandermeer might still make it work. Karmas caught. Could have been a free. McNeil got it anyway. Got it off to Williams. Third possession of the string. They're on the board.
That was good from the Bulldogs. It wasn't pretty the way that they got the ball forward, but it was at angles. Little moments in there. Bailey Williams, it's a fantastic finish. Had options on to potentially give another handball. But this is sort of the Bulldogs' chaos when they're up and going. You can see them running in this absolute wave, getting forward and getting in that contest. I thought that was the opportunity to turn over for Hawthorn. Buku getting forward again, and the Dogs just outnumbering forward of the ball. And a really, really classy finish. On the run to check side like that is a talent that not many players do have, but Bailey Williams does.
Fourth goal of the season for Bailey. So Ginnivan and Chol Williams with the response. English straight to Bontempelli. Meek cuts it off momentarily. Treloar back out in the ground, kicking in danger, but good to see the number one back in business. Meek's had an impact to the athletic one. Weddle takes a bounce, streaks away. Look at him go. Then bangs it deep inside 50. Moore's outside, does more to bring it to ground level. McDonald applies the tackle. Did well there. Moore to not get outmarked.
Just changes the game, Josh Weddle, doesn't he? Put the ball under the arm, but then even the kick, didn't kick it straight, sort of kicked it off the line.
Big pack around it. The Bont lurking as well. Nash lays the tackle on Richards.
Thanks, guys. Shut up.
Number one player in the game, according to some parameters this season, Ed Richards. They're going to have to shut him down to win this. English feeds it. It's hacked away by Bramble. Rolling ball, beat a couple, but not Morrison. Weddle thumps it back to a good spot. Got plenty on it. Maybe too much. Flyers go up. Dunstan! Was it off the knee or below it?
It's off the knee, Dwayne.
Has to be below the knee. For those playing at home.
He's going off his body language. It doesn't seem very convincing, I don't think.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we see the ball comes off above the knee of the Hawthorn attacker before crossing the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Only behind.
It was a good spot to put it there, though, for Weddle, as they confirmed the behind. And just put him under pressure. Tim English was back there. I would love to see that one just spoiled over the line. Reduce the risk if you're the Bulldogs and reset.
Inside 50 is the way of the Hawks. 7-2. 7-point lead. Dogs to the city side through Dale. Long ball to no one.
A set play going wrong there, I think, from the Bulldogs from that kick out.
Ricky Bramble up against his former side. Ginnivan out the back. Fraser stands him. Goes more to the front of the pack. Butler. McGuinness. Now the Hawks. 1-1 inside 50. McDonald. Child, bit of misunderstanding between the two. Moore overruns it. McDonald got one hand to it, then was punched away. Beautiful exit ball by Bailey Dale.
Found Williams, who's hot at the moment. Takes some time.
Ready, play on.
Launches it down the line. Barris got there and decided to just protect instead of taking the mark and battle. Stood his ground to Weddle. Here we go. See if he goes on one of those scything runs through the middle. He doesn't. He goes to Hardwick. He just saunters through half back to Amon, who uses it about 80% efficiency most times. He's one of the best ball users in the comp, and he finds Morrison.
At all matches this season, Morrison really finding his spot in the side. Butler makes Weddle work. Now he takes off. Mullet flows, takes a bounce, hits 45. Weddle to lift the crowd. Arm in the air. Magnificent finish.
That's incredible, Hawk, isn't it? Incredible.
Yeah, there's not too many better signs if you're a Hawthorn supporter, and not so much as a Bulldog supporter at the moment. Seeing Josh Weddle run, obviously, clearly the number 23 plays a significant part, but the way that he's able to gain ground so quickly, big strides, big powerful athlete, and then to finish on the run and arms out and tongue out, it's becoming a signature move for Josh Weddle, and one that you just got to sit back and admire, Jack.
Good to see Sam Butler involved as well. Another handball miss, but his first game after 400 days off with the broken leg. This man here, he is the excitement machine. He's been one of the most important players so far, and number 23 has had a fair history.
Comes with a jumper, maybe. The X Factor, Don Scott, Dermot Burden, Lance Franklin, and a bloke by the name of John Peck before that. They called him Elvis, John Peck, when he used to kick the big torps from the train line at Glenferrie. Inside 50 to McDonald. They have started brilliantly. have the Hawks. McDonald lines up to add to the Bulldog woe.
Sorry, Dwayne, you're right. They've been dominant around the ball. Clearance is 7-2 at the moment, so something that they've continued to work on and showing some good signs early.
Hawks need to win this, otherwise they might find themselves outside the 8 coming into the round. And this is an awesome start for the Hawks.
Well, Hawk, you spoke about pre-game, and we looked at the difference since last game played. Hawthorn 6 days, the Western Bulldogs 14. What is it about, you mentioned, about getting back on the horse quick enough after you've had a poor loss?
Well, I mean, clearly it was put on them, Jack. We don't actually know internally what happened during the week, but they've had some honest conversations. They've looked at themselves and the way that they play, and have spoken amongst the playing group. And clearly they want to bring that energy, that excitement back to their game, which they've been known for. They're young, small, fleet-footed forwards who we've just seen get involved early in the game that have given them a real spark. So the 6-day break sometimes works in your favour really well.
They look full of vigour, the Hawks. A couple of celebrations on the goals. Potential another clearance, but Treloar sends it the other way. Here's a ball to one. Impey battles with Vandermeer. No one really wins the contest. Williams caught by Morrison. Hardwick spins the other way. Playing down back tonight to Warple. Edges it forward. Gunston on a lead.
Got a little bit of extra mayo from Rory Lobb, but he's bounced up. Well, they're all-time greats. Looks inside. Goes a little further inside than most expected him to, and diving was Hardwick, about to kick it to where it often liked to be. Inside 50, hits wide. Lobb cuts it off brilliantly at half-back for the Dogs.
Extremely courageous there from Rory Lobb. Still going back with the fight. You don't know what's coming.
A little low stinger from Rory. Impey tries to gather. Contested ball on the wing. Picked up by Ward, immediately released by Hand. Just scooped back into the middle by Battle. Somehow landed on Nash, who did really well to get a boot to ball to Gunston. Talking about famous numbers of the Hawks, number 19. It's an aggressive ball into the middle. Well, Amon gave away a free kick. It was almost a professional free to slow things down. On to Sanders. Now Vandermeer. Inside 50, good spoil by Battle.
Spoils, tackles, they're doing it all, the Hawks. McDonald got out of a tackle. Got away from Dale, hits wide. Moore. He wants more, he takes him on. Didn't want that to go out. Went to D'Ambrosio, who spears at the Butler. His eyes light up. Who does he want?
Give it up, play on.
He launches it. Chol won't get there. Ramsden did. Crashed it down. Good compete. Warple picked it up. Dogs got plenty of players back now. Williams under some heat. Chol goes in hard. Morrison dumped by Kennedy, taken down cautiously enough.
Very good from Ramsden there as well. We marvelled at Marbion Chol, the first play of the game, bringing the ball to the front. Ramsden did exactly the same thing, giving the small forwards an opportunity.
Inside 50's 11-2. The Hawks dominating on the board as well. Nash snaps out of the pack. Looks pretty good. The Hawks have got 5 on the board.
Starting to become a real worry, Hawk, isn't it? You spoke about the stoppage game, pre-game. They're getting beaten up around the stoppages.
Yeah, they certainly are, Jack. And what a finish. We touched on this with Moons out on the ground. The size of Connor Nash, he's 6'6", 198, and can use it both sides of his body. But I've just been impressed with the way Hawthorn have been able to press. And we saw it earlier on in the chain. Josh Battle pushed forward, intercepted the ball, and gave them an attacking foray. So it's clearly something that they've spoken about, is that press and get on the ball carrier and try and turn it over at the source.
I think Adam Treloar would like to have that stoppage again. He was the one on Nash and he went to the wrong spot.
Yeah, maybe a bit rusty, hasn't played for a while. Bonampelli trying to stop the rot, got it to Kennedy. They get the clearance, Weddles under it, goes with the fist instead. Harris, Morrison, he's done well early. He's done well this year. kept his spot in the team. Lobs in front, ugly bounce. Gunston edged him under it, caught, stripped, cooked. Great tackle, Rory Lobb.
Great comeback from Rory Lobb there. Pushed under the ball. Jack Gunston did that really smart. Great forward craft, but then to get back on it and lay the tackle.
Been a revelation since he moved down back midway through last season. Rory Lobb. Barris with the fist. Meat good below his knees for a big fella. Warple throws on the boot in a hurry. And Bramble marks in front of McGuinness. Crowded forward line. Weddle's the spare. Bramble goes in that direction. Weddle flying from the side with the fist. Potentially could have marked. Falls to Liberatore. Steps through traffic. Just running out of room was Sanders. Now a high ball. D'Ambrosio needs to be good, and he's excellent.
Over the bot of all people. Put that on the poster in the bedroom. It was a nice one. Hard man to beat. He's in the All-Australian squad of 40 last year, D'Ambrosio. Hasn't quite been that kind of season for him, but there's plenty of season left. Ward through the traffic nicely. Looking solid here, the Hawks early, and Lobb stops the rod again. Not for Rory Lobb. They might be a lot further behind. The Dogs, chip kick to O'Donnell. He can size it up with 5:50 left.
Williams the only goal scorer for the Dogs. Hawks have got 5 on the board. Down to centre half forward, and Weddle is one of those. He's kicked the goal of the night so far. Takes a good mark. And the Hawks runner all the way back. Exit ball needs to be good. There was nothing to the near side. It's D'Ambrosio, who ran a long way, sends it the other way. Good fly by Moore. Gathers at ground level. They're irrepressible at the moment. The Hawks. Amon has got Max Ramsden on the outer side.
First game of the season, as we mentioned. Hasn't had a lot of footy. Been on the list a few years. More Weddle. And he heads inside 50. Meek! Got there from 3 deep. Had to go with the fist in the end. Not a mark attempt. Another hard tackle. Sanders, Liberatore. Every Dog under heat when they get near it. Ball up.
They are just outnumbering them at every contest, Hawthorn. Bulldogs players look out on their feet. 14-day break. And at the moment, it is the Hawks that are just working harder.
The tackle and pressure has been questioned all week, the Hawks. They've responded in the first term. McGuinness straight lines the footy.
Yours?
Cleary spirals it out of defence. Treloar does well just to halve it with Weddle. Now brings it to Liberatore. Spins it to the outer side.
Hounds might get there. Little fumble goes back. Still a chance. Norton, chip kick inside. Put Sanders under the hammer. Tries to mop up his own mess. Libba says, I'll have it. Treloar, he looked at the bot and ignored him. Now he gives it. The bot on the left. Even the Bond can't. And that tells a bit of the Dog's tale.
You see Adam Treloar is just a little bit rusty, I reckon. That handball's got to come out the first time. Marcus Bontempelli breaking through 50. You'd like that every time, but held it for half a second, wanted a little bit more, and ended up putting Bontempelli under pressure.
Battle, long clearing ball to the outer flank. Meek will come from behind.
Bye, ball. Thanks, mate.
Williams has had 7, Bont 6 for the Dogs. Weddle 7 and a goal. Amon 5, inside 50, still dominated by the Hawks, 13-5. Kennedy can't get through a Nash tackle.
Would you tag Josh Weddle now at the moment, Hawk? Because he's the best player on the ground.
Yeah, he is. Not at this stage, Jack. I think that I'd love to see the Bulldogs try and kick and mark their way through a little bit more to hold possession.
Nash got it to the wing. Hard crash. Ball falls to McDonald. Spears it to Gunston. Good hands, and they run again. He's got Butler out the back. He launches long. Got him. No. Bounced off his chest. Sam Butler had it for all money and couldn't quite pull it in. But maybe he's a bit rusty. First game in 418 days.
Just getting back to the uncontested marks, Jack, you mentioned that they look out on their feet, the Bulldogs. It's a good way to compose yourself, get your breath back in attack, kick mark your way through the opposition defence.
Butler, hurried snap. It's into a dangerous area. It's not dangerous when Bontempelli's there, though. Just mops up to English. Norton on a long lead. Barris with a big fist of fury. sees it across the line.
Yeah, I've loved Tom Barris's work behind the ball. Not looking to intercept Mark, clearly looking to put that big fist on the ball. Aaron Norton's been leading hard at the ball, but Barris has been right behind him every single time.
Well, they have been a good combo. I know there's been a few questioning it, but Barris and Battle recruited to be the two main defenders. Hardwick sent back. They decided not to play Frosty. So a big call as Norton flies, can't mark it. Davidson wrapped up on Morrison and given an eternity. In fact, the umpire said, I've given you line off. Hand it over.
Morrison slides one down the outer wing. It's a good mark by Mitchell back in the side. He's been in dominant VFL form. First game of the year. Into Ward, who's more and more confident each week in the Hawthorn midfield. Very short to Nash. So that's the Hawks that are keeping possession through Mark and Tom.
Yeah, and going forward too as well. I think Hawks is important when you take these short marks to make sure you're still getting up the ground, getting away from your own goals and close to yours.
35 plus and a couple of goals the last 2 weeks. For Box Hill, Mitchell. Ramsden is there, competes to bring it to ground level. Bontempelli gets his hands above the tackle. Now Bramble.
Given a little room to roam, heads in the Norton direction. Barris and Norton. And Barris might end up with no skin on his knuckles by the end of the night. He's been doing well. Norton hasn't done a lot yet. From the scramble, Norton in the congestion. Warple picked it up. David Duamon around his body, but maybe too wide. Too wide for all bar the boundary umpire. Free kick to English.
Just on the Norton Barras battle, it's be careful how I say that, but I'd love to see Aaron Norton move around a bit more, Jack. I feel like, I know the ball sat on his head a couple of times, but I'd love to get that movement so you're not always sitting under the footy.
English in the path of Karmas and Lloyd Meek, who kicked an early goal. He's a hard man to shift. Listed at 203 centimetres.
Stan Jones.
And I know my weights, Howie, and I reckon he'd be over 110.
Takes one to know when you reckon, Tommy.
When you're talking those sort of numbers.
Big numbers.
I'm an expert.
It's in the hands of Butler, who started nicely, his sixth disposal.
Move it on. Play on.
Just over a minute to play with. Dominated the court of the Hawks. Wide ball. O'Donnell goes the double fist. Safety first. Probably not a bad idea at this stage of the quarter. They've been outplayed. Luke Beveridge is going to have to reach into his bag of tricks at quarter time. 32-8. Tonight, the only meeting between these two teams for the season, unless they meet in finals, and the Dogs lost both games to the Hawks last season.
Including that final as well. They give up ground to English. Richards is involved in the chain. Gets it again now. Dezed, nice ball forward. Promising. Kennedy, the former Blue. A little bit indecisive now. Lobs it inside. He gives Buku. Weddle floats across the front. Doesn't quite bring it to ground. Dogs press. Hurry snap out of the pack is McNeil. But again, the Hawks have the answers. So it falls to Morrison. Getting a bit of advice over the fence is Harry. He spreads it out wide. Ramsden runs himself underneath it. Meek tapping it around in the air. Now back to Kennedy. Goes inboard to Cleary. I want to turn it over there. He takes a long time to get rid of the footy. Finally spins out deep in the term. And the Hawks managed to lock it in.
They've been able to get their hands on the ball. Hawthorn. 10 more times already this quarter. It was about 30 seconds ago. The Dogs just need to get their hands on the footy.
Richards caught by a couple of Hawks. Morrison just needs to hold on to it and see the siren. Does just that. So a dominant turn. The Hawks kicked the first two. Williams responded, and then Weddle, McDonald and Nash kicked three to finish the turn. Big start to the Hawks. They've been under the pump all week. They start nicely on the back of that man, Weddle. Hawthorn 5-2-32 lead the Dogs 1-8 by 24 points at quarter time. Thursday night footy on Fox. The big games continue to roll around tomorrow night. Jared, Hutto, Gary, Jason Dunstall, amongst others, see Adelaide take on Brisbane. You'll see it all right here on your home of footy. That's Fox Footy.
Alrighty, folks, to tell you what, a few happy Hawthorn supporters out here tonight at Marvel Stadium, 5-2-32. Hawthorn leading the Western Bulldogs 1-2-8. I tell you what, if you're Hawthorn, you've got to be happy. Absolutely in control of that quarter, pretty much every aspect of that game. Hawthorn looked good. One of the things that the Dogs are failing to do, and that's stopping Hawthorn's, some of their short chipping game, getting back through the corridor. Of course, the Hawks were unable to do that last week. You thought the Bulldogs might have learned something by then, but the Hawks controlling it. They're controlling it. I'll tell you what, Bianca, you got to be pretty happy with the way your boys are going. They're going fantastic. Of course, shout out to Adrian Sport Channel, the famous Adrian. Of course, Bianca, her beloved Hawks are playing. Ryan Avery Rogue One, how you going, Ryan? Good to see you. And of course, Tina's in the chat, in the live chat. She's the famous Tina. Pass away now, Tina. Gameboard, a.k.a. Gameboard. Shouty. Welcome in. Hope you're enjoying the game so far. I'll tell you what, 4 minutes away. The Hawks came out nice and fast with a couple of quickies. The Dogs got one back. That's about all. And then the Hawks took control again. I think, you know what? I think they'll be happy with where they sit. 4 goals up. That's probably about right for the margin at the moment. Of course, well, they could have been further up, but there we go. Well, Freo stay 8th right now on the live ladder. Is that right? It is 2. It is 2. Oh, it is 2. Why is that? Oh, that's right, because Western Bulldogs need to win to go out. Holy Toledo, Batman. You're spot on. Hey, let's have a look at the goal scorers. All singles, no multiples. Let's go through all the goal scorers for Western Bulldogs. Bailey Williams has got one. And that is all. Hawthorn, though, Josh Weddle, Connor Nash, Connor McDonald, Jack Ginnivan, Moab Chol. They are single goal scorers there for the Hawthorn. And of course, I'm sure we'll see a few. Well, that's surprising. Look at that. The top ball magnets out there, Matthew Kennedy from the Doggies on 9, 5 and 4, 3 marks, couple of clearances. Ed Richards, Marcus the Bontempelli, both with 8. Reasonable opening quarters. Bailey Williams 7. For the Hawks, Josh Weddle. I tell you what, he's been really good, Josh Weddle, so far. Fantastic quarter with 7. 4 kicks, 3 handballs, 2 marks. He's kicked that goal. I tell you what, he brings some speed there for Hawthorn off back. I tell you what, he's good. I like him. He's got his look when he's running through that corridor. He's got his mullet flowing in the air as, it's like poetry in motion watching Josh Weddle there running. There we go. Harry Morrison on 7 also for the Hawks. Tommy Liberatore just a 6 there for the Doggies. 1 kick, 5 handballs. And, of course, Tim English with the 6. There we go. Just rolled down the board a little bit. Gunston, 4 kicks, 4 disposals, 3 kicks. Well, 1 did come off just above his knee through the goals, so it was a score review and, of course, called a goal. But, Weddle kicked a beautiful goal, received it from the centre square, took a couple of bounces, ran through 50. The big locks flowing as he was running, bang, puts it on his boot and straight through the middle. That was the goal of the quarter so far. There we go. Your stats for your players. Jarman Impey, just the 1 so far. There we go. There are your team stats just for now. I tell you what, we're in for a great game. Hey, can Hawthorn continue? This is unexpected, folks. This truly is unexpected, what we're seeing this evening with Hawthorn out to a 24-point lead at quarter time. No one expected this. What have we got the poll saying? Our poll so far, and the poll even states that 77% thought Western Bulldogs would win this, 23% so far with Hawthorn. Make sure you get your votes in. We want to see if we can end up picking the winner on the siren. See how the poll ends up there. But 77% so far for the Western Bulldogs. Can they come back? The Bulldogs, you know what? I think they've got to have a little bit of their turn. They'll get a little bit of momentum in this game. Don't worry about that. Both of these teams, folks, can kick goals within minutes of each other. and put a score on the board. So 24-point margin, it's not that big at the moment, but just even saying that, Hawthorn will be very, very pleased with the way their game is playing out tonight. They're playing it all on their terms, and the Western Bulldogs unable to, well, put a hold on that at the moment. But they've been in for the break. Quarter time is over. A little bit of a freshen up and a chit chat with the coaches. We'll see if Western Bulldogs can respond like we know how they can, or can the Hawks keep on going. Impressive. Hey, I think we're going to be in for a ring-a-ding-ding game, as I said at the start. Let's hope this comes down to the final kick of the siren. Wouldn't that be exciting? That would be super, super exciting. Ella Rose, how you going? Welcome in. Thursday night football. Are you as surprised as we are? It's the Hawks by 24 at quarter time. Hey, that's enough of me. Hey, let's get back down to the action. And they're going to bounce the ball for the second quarter, where it's the Hawks by 24.
So love just to see that little bit more movement. We know he's got a high work rate. He can get up and down the ground. So if he can just change those angles, Tom Barras is very much a straight line player. Key position defenders don't like being taken off. So that's certainly a watch.
24-point margin in favour of the Hawks. Mentioned they met each other elimination final last year. They also met each other pre-season, so had a couple of looks at each other. It was a thriller pre-season down in Launceston. That was the day that Marcus Bontempelli injured his calf. Underway, second term. Here is the Bont on cue. Couldn't trap it. Ward goes and gets it. Gave it back to Amon. He in turn to Newcomb. Straight down the spine. He travels. Low bullet. Tried for Chol. Missed him. McGuinness goes down low. Gardner the other way. It's in there somewhere. Walpole fighting hard.
Just quickly, guys, interesting look here. Liberatore started at half-back on Ginnivan. So just having a look right now just to see how he's going to go with that.
Cameron Mooney bringing you up to date from ground level. Overruns this one, Liberatore, as the Hawks squeeze it inside 50.
Well, Jack, you can see it from up there. He's giving Jack Ginnivan a lot of room if he's playing on the half-back line.
He's sort of setting up as a little bit of a quarterback at the moment. Ginnivan sitting off the stoppage.
Lloyd goes to ground. Here is Ginnivan. Straight lines it through the legs of Liberatore. Dale gets through one tackle. Sanders is clever. Kennedy. The Hawthorn pressure comes again, and it's caught together. Quarterback, Jack, explain.
Well, it's the sort of the player that sits behind the stoppage to make sure they can catch a player coming through offensively, but also you can stand there and get a handball received back.
Frazier spins out of a jam, goes back to go forward. Gardner did the full 360. Hands it towards Davidson, but it's not quite going to plan at the moment for the Dogs, so we'll see if Luke Beveridge has reached into his bag of tricks with Liberatore. Maybe giving Jack Ginnivan something to consider to be defensive as a forward.
He looks a bit sort of at sea at the moment, Tom Liberatore, sort of looking around with his hands up, back in the midfield now.
Well, he wouldn't have played there all that often. Walpole ran into a brick wall. The Bont just goes with a fifth, so it's an interesting option from the Bont. Normally he'd take possession of that. Sanders in the congestion. Richards hammers it away. Barras will get there and Norton will try and cut him down. Boundary line is friend. He didn't want to take it there. Barras and Norton wrapped him up.
Playing to your strengths there, I think, for Tom. Knew that the pressure was coming and a stoppage is a good reset.
Newcomb bursts his way through. And then passes to space. Frazier, who's got a lot of similarities to Bontempelli. If he claims the mark and does well. Just above the turf, looks to the middle. It's an aggressive and beautifully weighted kick to Ginnivan. He'll want to go immediately. Dale needs to let him go. Jack drops it, trying to get the 50. Umpire was aware. Did well in the end, Dale, to hold him up. It was a siding kick to find Ginnivan. Now Amon, good user of the footy. Hawks will like it in his hands. Punches it towards Chol. Gets up in front of Gardner. Keeps his feet, does well, Chol. Now just jogs away with the footy like it's a training run, as only Marbior can. High ball from Moore towards Gunston. Bontempelli with a high ball to the outer side.
He smacked it away in hope, and the hope works. Got it to Williams. Trainer out with Marbior Chol, so we'll keep an eye on that. Williams dances past Amon, heads to Norton, comes a long way down to get a possession. Thumps it out wide. Vandermeer was his target. Crashed down. Great ball against the grain. Impey picks up the crumb. Gave it to Battle. Gave it to Warple. Nice hand over to Moore. Beautiful movement. Impey shrugs Frazier brilliantly. Hands it back to Warple. A dart inside 50. Gunston couldn't get there. And a good mark taken again by O'Donnell.
He's casual, your former teammate, Marby or Child Jack.
Yeah, very, very casual. He's casual then. There, I think he nearly got down to a race walking pace.
But Davidson marks halfback. Dolan and Jath, the two subs tonight. If you're just joining us, the Hawks led by 24. That quarter time, no majors to start the second term. Barris with a big fist. Treloar rows it beautifully. Now there's an opportunity. Sanders has found his way out the back. Impey stands the mark.
Yeah, Bontempelli just putting his hand out, telling him to stop.
Williams calls it deep. There's Dogs out though. Bit of a breakdown for the Hawks, and Kennedy will line up. And he's in good goal-kicking form with 14 goals for the season.
Yeah, it was great patience then by young Sanders. Hawthorn had the advantage down the line, so we've seen them take it off the line and have some real success.
Kennedy looks good off the boot, responds. That's what the Dogs needed to get the second term underway. I said to you, Jack, 12 games into his career at the Dogs, Matthew Kennedy would have kicked 15 goals. You'd be clapping your hands if you're a Dogs recruiter.
Yeah, you would be. And I think the goals is obviously because he's been playing a little bit more forward. They've got a star-studded midfield. I love this. You can see Marcus Bontempelli putting his hand up to him to slow down. And what actually happens is all the players come into the skinny part of the ground and the fat side opens up. Kennedy, he's a crafty player. His statistics this year, not just goal kicking, but all over the ground, have gone up in terms of contested possessions, number of possessions. He's ranking higher than any other season that he's played, and he's found himself at home at the Bulldogs.
And accurate, 15 goals, 4 for the year, 3 straight. Last game against Geelong. Good pickup. Third club, Giants, Blues, and now Dogs. Royalty.
Elbow.
We're going to have a word. Hey, Jack, during the break at half-time about Tassie, can you...
I'm sick of politics. I'm not talking about them anymore.
We'll leave that to the others. Bontempelli on the run. Flicks it over West. Lost his compass, stood West. And missed.
The short runner's chief political correspondent you did at the start of the show.
Laurie Oakes like, is that what you're suggesting, Mark?
Maybe not quite.
Review, umpire's call is behind. Please check which side of the post it went over. Review underway.
Start to the turn for the Dogs.
It is, and they needed to react. I think this one will
Review
be
complete.
a point as well.
Looking at this angle, we see the ball crosses the line on the inside of the behind post. Decision on the scoreboard.
Been through clearances as well. They're a couple up already early in this second quarter.
Impey brings it to the Medallion Club side, and Meek, he is a big body to shift, as we've mentioned numerous times already. Big Lloyd kicked a goal on the first term. Looks to the middle, which could be slightly ambitious. And the big fella drops it down the line towards Chol, comes in from the side. Big pack of players, Morrison, rows absolutely perfectly. There's no one to kick to, hence the fact he takes the bounce. Really takes his time. Now gets a one-on-one with the powerful Nash. Nearly plucked it. Tries to get it out towards Ward. He stands up in a tackle and immediately caught. Morrison did well there to delay the entry, and Harms looks like he's got a bit of an issue.
Yeah, a couple of trainers out, so we'll keep an eye on that. A good spot for the Hawks here. McDonald also across the face. Gunston kept it alive. He turned lob inside out. Centering kick. He can mark his own ball. Ramsden had both palms on it. Wouldn't have been paid. Kennedy. Richards. Little drop step was good. Bought himself some time and space. Great mark though by Battle.
Looks inboard, gives up ground to Impey. Jarman Impey, formerly of Port Adelaide, eases it towards Chol on the lead. O'Donnell just works him under it, does well, claim the mark, not paid. Dogs under pressure just over the top of Warple. Falls to Butler. Goes back by hand. Battle. Kicks under pressure inside Rory Lobb. Meek arrives. Gardner gives him no room. Takes him to ground, which is not an easy task.
Josh Battle just looks so much more at home up the ground. Big aerial contest there where James Harms came off second best.
Ginnivan nearly. Ginnivan does. Got it free. Richards. He's almost gone. Just got off in time. Dale, everything under pressure. Bramble hammers it. Norton comes hard. Dropped it to grass though. Vandermeer couldn't do something with it. Warple does. Hands it to Nash. Wobbler. Richards. Bramble. Dale. On defensive. 50 goes wide to Vandermeer. And he holds it up. Doesn't go immediately. Now he does.
Waits the runners. Now they come. Williams just misses Bontempelli. The champ picks it up. He's under pressure as the Dogs have been all night. Riley West in a dangerous position. Hardwick. Buku Karmish in the pocket. Centering ball from Buku is magnificent. Finds Harms. Gee, that was good vision by Buku.
Certainly was. Very unselfish by Karmas and great running by. We touched on James Harms just before. Took a big blow in that marking contest down near the interchange and pushed forward and takes a nice mark and should finish.
Second year at the Dogs. And they respond absolutely perfectly with the opening turn, the second turn to the red, white and blue.
Yeah, it was a really nice passage of play from the Bulldogs there. They found the mark coming out of D50. There was a couple of re-entries from Hawthorn that were able to be too strong behind the ball. There was some change of angles and a really smart kick by Bontempelli. Had the Bulldogs players going back. He created contest, bring it to a predictable part of the ground and just a really clever and unselfish kick to a predictable part of the ground.
And Richards has started getting going in the second quarter. Up to 5 disposals already. He's at 13 for the match. Marcus Bontempelli started to get involved. The Bulldogs stars. Maybe it was a quarter they needed just to wake up from the bye week, but starting to dominate clearances as well.
And the restart. Hawks did lead by 25. Newcomb. Butler. A tumbler.
Just to go on your point, Jack, it's the pressure as well. The Dogs have finally come to the party with their pressure. They've really upped the ante in this quarter.
Dale. So, Ginnivan, a kitten. Bontempelli. Richards, the usual suspects. Weddle. Hammers it away. Torps it long. Bontempelli, Ginnivan, both down there. Ball hit the deck. McGuinness caught. Chol goes back to Nash. Ward, Chisler, Battle, likewise, that time it did go the required, and the quick handoff, forward 50 kick is nicely marked by McGuinness. Now, does he want to back himself here? He backpedals. They need a nerve settler, the Hawks. Did lead by 25. In the opening term, led by 24 at quarter time. They lead by 11 now with this kick to come from the arc. It's a mongrel through hands. Chaos ball nearly worked. Vandermeer to Harms. Bangs it back. Hardwick about to send it back inside 50.
Wants to go immediately. Nothing presents. The leads come now. Just takes a bit of time now. Just Blake Hardwick. Plays on. Sets it up high towards Meat. Fist comes from behind. Get him in dangerous area. Great small by Frazier. Nash gets his man. Probably needs to get rid of the footy. Somehow does in the end. Butler looking for the free. Harms applied the tackle absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it was an interesting kick from Hardwick there. He sort of gave it that little bit of extra height. Allowed the Hawthorn forwards to engage Tim English, who was behind the ball as the free.
Big pack around this. English. Took it out of the air, was caught. Newcomb in the traffic, got up to Nash. Kick smothered, ricochet. Frazier just bangs it out of there. Tries to get it out of the trouble zone. Barras again, loses some skin. Nash wide, Ginnivan wider. Ward on the march. He pulled the kick late. That was brilliant. And Big Max gets his moment here. Back into the team.
Good spoil.
Where you are, that's good, yep.
First game of the season for Max Ramsden. Just the 6th game of his career. Doesn't get a chance in the team all that often. Was a mid-season rookie draft pick in 2022. 2 games in 23, 3 games in 24. First game of this season. And he blows his line.
It's a little bit pokey, that one there. You can see the moving the ball sort of left to right. Love to see him just hold it just that little bit stiller. You're coming in, Max.
Lock takes ground, drives it all the way to the outer wing. Buku comes from behind, or Barris. He's playing a game and a half. He's been spoil, and now contested mark. The big Tom.
It's simple as well. Bring yourself back to your strength of spoiling the ball, and then you can start to build off the back of that. The intercept mark game is something that he has as well.
Plays on with a booming drop punt. 20 from home. Falls to dangerous areas. McGuinness. Karmas. Ginnivan gives him no room to operate.
Tackle pressure's been brilliant from the Hawks tonight. Bramwell got it from English, gave it to Trelaw, to Dale. They're out of trouble. Maybe not for long. Harvick couldn't quite spoil it away from the danger zone. Where's the Harms? Had a bounce, ran to 50, overcooked it. Vandermeer to make something of it. And coming hard, Weddle saves the day and gives him a little look and then a little knee, a little nudge. Vandermeer is an antagoniser, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Allen Iverson about that sort of stare down.
Walk over him.
Yeah.
Game's gone up a notch. Dogs with the only 2 of the turn. They tried by 24 at quarter time. Back to a 2-goal margin. Ramsden couldn't take his goal opportunity. Newcomb whipped out to D'Ambrosio. Really tight on the line. He provides the fist and sends it into about row 4.
Been good, Big Lloyd. Beat the MRO. Had his eyes on the ball last week, so free to play.
And he was never getting weeks for that.
Was never getting weeks for that?
Never. Nah, good body spoil.
Where a few call him for it. Depends on who you ask. Max Ramsden does well there. Ripped it out of the air. Got it down. He gets his chance in the ruck now. Max Ramsden is a bit like Jimmy Nicol. He doesn't get a chance all that often, but Ringo not playing tonight, so in he comes on the drums.
He was a filling beater, was he?
Yes, for the Australian tour.
Good detail by you, Dwayne. Kennedy with an up and under ball. Impey brings it to ground. Ginnivan whips it out. D'Ambrosio takes on the tackle. He's done too. Now they've come the other way. Haven't got an important fist in. Davidson just missed. Sanders still they press though the Dogs inside 50 in an unusual fashion. Warple, Ginnivan. And now Hardwick. Chance McDonald to run on it. Bramwell's right on his hammer. Stops, props, goes back, gives up ground. Weddle. And now to Bannock.
It's deafening in here at the moment. Hawthorn fans in full voice. And why wouldn't they be? Through hands for Law. Cuts it off, gave it to Lob. Cleary. Kennedy. Harder down by Moore. Put some pressure on the kick. Turnover because of it. Gunston. So no tackle, but the pressure was there. And Marvia got up. Couldn't mark it. Still trouble. Sanders gave it off just in time. Gardner hammers it away. Amon about to send it back in.
A couple of Hawks to choose from. One was D'Ambrosio, but the winning ticket goes to Dylan Moore, All-Australian last year. The only Hawk, 11 goals for the season. A couple of opportunities gone begging this turn for the Hawks.
Yeah, the territory game's really becoming concerning for the Bulldogs. We're 28 inside 50s to 13. He's going to get it done.
Dylan Moore, a 45-degree angle. And again, the Hawks miss an opportunity. So a couple of set shots go begging.
Still the only 2 goals of the quarter to the Dogs. Liberatore. Yet to be an All-Australian, but this might be the year that he finally gets the jacket. Wide to Dale, who might be in that team with him. Both having great seasons.
This wide movement as well is suiting Hawthorn. They've sort of suckered him in really close to the boundary. It gives Hawthorn to really strengthen behind the ball.
Dale down the line, over a few heads. Ramsden kept it in. West wrapped him up, and the umpire will pull it up.
Just on the territory battle, you've got to get something, you've got to give something up, and Western Bulldogs clearly want a number in their back half, which means when they look to take the ball forward and attack, they don't really have the numbers to go to.
Tom Hawkins, Jack Rewalt, Dwayne Russell, Cameron Mooney on Thursday Night Footy on Fox. The champ has a rest alongside English, Fraser and Richards, so there's some firepower on the bench. Ramsden, Ward, Hawks under pressure, good tackle, Vandermeer, Cannon, straight into Ginnivan.
It's Bailey Dale at the moment, the one behind the ball. You're giving up something, and Bailey Dale's very good offensively. Right now, sitting 30 metres. I'd love to see him right up at the stoppage, sitting back, getting impact.
Meek to Nash, who smashed it towards Gunston. Couldn't take the mark. Dale sped into a jam, then out of one. Cleary, Liberatore. Norton used his body, used it legally. Thomas, the crumb. Davidson hasn't seen a lot of it. Floats it to Kennedy. What an addition he's been. And he can line up from directly out from 50 to make it 3 for the quarter for the Dogs. The only 3 goals of the quarter if he can slot it.
Smart by Davidson here, but also smart by Kennedy again. He knew that Davidson was under pressure and he just needed to find a small kick and just found space wide.
From outside the arc. It's wide, he got under it, he won't make the range. And a smash through by Lloyd Meek.
Love seeing that from Lloyd Meek. Fundamental of a ruckman to make sure that you're on the goal line. Just not, and to clear it like that as well. Shows that he's really switched on.
Hardwick favours the near side. Sends it out towards the 2 ruckmen. Oh, Newcomb with a big fly. Can't complete the mark. Davidson by hand. Bramble. A spiral inside 50. Tough for everyone. West hits the pack hard. Splits the whole lot open. Brings it down to ground level. Well done, Riley West. Moore. Impey, Ward. Dangerous area. Exit ball. Couple of Dogs there. They spoil each other. Let off for the Hawks. Meek now goes through the middle. They spin around the other way. Newcomb. Chol. Gardner. Chol. Marbion taps out in front. Does he get the pickup? The casual one takes his time. Gunston in a bit of a pickle. Finally, the Hawks get the one they've been chasing on the back of Marbion Chol.
Yeah, really clever, Howie. Well said. Marbion Chol just to be able to get the ball to ground. I mean, the danger was that Ryan Gardner, who arguably had best position in that forward 50 entry, he takes the mark. And then they've got to come back through, but Marbion finds a way to get the ball to ground, which plays to his strengths. He's agile, I know he's laconic, but just here we see Marbion just get a bit of body contact, get the ball to ground, keep knocking it on to advantage, be clean, shake it off. I love that too. I love the unselfishness. It nearly didn't come off, but the fact that he's looking to get other people in the game is always a great sign for the headspace of a key forward.
He's a scary prospect out the back, Marbion Chol, like that. Like playing the deep forward. Hawks getting very high at the moment. They've got so much space, almost Pagan's paddock-like. With Marbion Chol going back to goal, shows the leg speed there. Will challenge the Dogs' defence.
Newcomb, Meek, Warple. They're inside 50 again. Gunston from behind, got a fist on it. Wants it down, Butler stripped. No prior. Ward wobbles it. Marbion got there late. Crashed it down. Newcomb, room to move, and drops one on him. 2 in a minute.
Well, John Newcomb is really putting himself a game together. That takes him up to 13 possessions. We know he's a contested beast. He's got 10 of those contested to finish with a goal. You know, we look at him in the way that Hawthorn needed to improve around the football, and he's certainly leading the way as that leader amongst the midfield.
Spoke about Richards having the impact for the Bulldogs. Its direct opponent there is John Newcomb, just didn't go with him out of the stoppage. You can see standing there next to him now, he's got to put in some big ones to get there to Newcomb, and Newcomb goes to exactly the right spot if you're going to crumb a contest.
Josh Ward picked 7 back in 2021, played most of the second half of last year in the VFL, finding his feet, 14 touches. One of his better halves in the brown and gold. The Dogs extracted out of the middle. Sanders, oh, that was slick to Richards. That was really slick. Can he finish off a brilliant move? Top shelf Dogs!
Incredible. He is currently the #1 rated player in the competition, and you can see why. Goes to stoppage. And he's really good at reading turnover as well. So seeing opportunity, and the opportunity came where it's 50-50 in your forward half. You can take a little bit more of a risk here. And Riley Sanders, he's starting to become a real player for the Bulldogs. Spends a little bit of time on ball, but half forward, craftiness like that, Hawk, you can't teach that.
Absolutely. That's something where we've know internally that they rate him really highly. And things like that just goes to show that he has a beautiful feel for the game. I'd love to see him get flicked through that midfield and give them a bit of a chop out there through there too.
Ed Richards, another like Tom Liberatore, on track for a first ever All-Australian Blazer. Never even made the squad of 40. Ed Richards, English wins a free. Bit off a bit more than he could chew there. Frazier mopped up his man. Here's Richards again. Hands it over to Williams. Flicks it further on. Vandermeer. Got an ugly or a kind bounce. Depends on how you read it. Wrapped up ball up.
A little bit of spot there with Vandermeer. Saw the Weddle contest before. There's a little bit extra spice on that tackle.
Dogs pressing. Meek whipping through as Kennedy. Bontempelli doesn't really get purchased. Watch the bounce though. There was a hand on it prior to that. Battle's arguing his case. The Dogs aren't so. And he's paid a goal. Well, all the evidence pointed to a behind. And the goal umpire says, no, it's a sausage.
He knows, look. He knows.
So does everyone else. There's not much movement from the players out there, almost like they're setting up for a
zero,
a kicking. Setting up. No one has gone back to prepare for a CB bounce.
Looks like we're going to get a reversal here, or
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball's touched by the left hand of the Hawthorn defender. Decision on the scoreboard.
And it is a bit hard for the goal umpire to see or hear that, so that's where technology wins.
That's where it's at its best.
Yeah.
It's a hard one to call, Dwayno, and it's an obvious error that can be turned over and away we go. That's when the review is at its best.
Yeah, spot on. We're all happy with that. Well, maybe the Dogs fans aren't, but I think we're happy that the right decision's been made. Long launch. Ramsden down there. English down there. Off hands. Bramble flicks it further on. Williams tried to trap it and couldn't. Big 3 minutes coming up here to half-time.
Hawks led by 24 at quarter time. The Dogs kicked the first two. They were back within a couple of kicks. The Hawks have eked it to a 17-point margin. Still plus 14 inside 50s, 31-17 the way of the Hawks. The Dogs pressing again though. English grabs out of the ruck magnificently. Big Tim plays on with a high ball inside 50. Weddle is spare and takes a nice contested mark.
great protection from behind the ball though to allow Josh Weddle to just jump up like that. I think the Dogs have really, the Hawks have done a really good number protecting for Weddle to jump.
Newcomb comes in from the side. Gittman gets an important hand in. Back to Newcomb. Runs into trouble. As he was falling, O'Donnell tackled him and Jai gets the free.
Dog fans think that Newcomb Run into O'Donnell. Newcomb gives a few options of thought. Goes wide to maybe the Ramsden option, but outmastered by Gardner. So the relaunch opportunity for the Dogs with 2 minutes left on the clock to half-time.
Ryan Gardner, foot and wrist injuries last year, didn't play any senior football. Good to see him back out there in business. Free kick to Weddle, so he's causing the Dogs a few issues.
This is what starts to happen when you've got a player that is intercepting and dominating in the back half. Start to give away free kicks. Trying to stop him, have a run and jump at the ball.
Short to Massimo D'Ambrosio. He gets corridor to Weddle. Thought about going, Sanders was there. Happy to chip it forward again to Moore. Minute and a half on the clock. Mitchell again back to Moore.
Different ploy here from the Hawks. Just stretching the Dogs out a little. Wait for a hole to open up. Moore does go long. He's got Meek down the line if he gets there late. And Big Max takes it anyway. Charles inside 50, calling for it long. TNT the sign. You can make up your own mind as to what that means. Charles! The Charles Royce goes up and gets. He's been threatening to do that all night.
Yeah, he has. He's got himself in some really good positions as we see him squeeze the ball Jeremy Cameron style, but we know what he can do. He's got a huge leap. He launches into the contest. He generally takes a body with him. I know Lloyd Meek a couple of weeks ago copped a couple of knees in the back, but that was special.
He plays 100th in a few weeks. Marbia Chol in the shadows of half-time. Merry old Chol. He looks at the crowd. How about that?
Another lovely finish there from Marbia Chol. I think that is when he's at his best. If he's not marking it on the lead, coming across from the side and actually impacting the contest. You can see him setting his defender up and Gardner pointing there. I just like when he's not the number one riding in from deep, so straight. He actually comes in and floats in front of the pack and uses that athletic prowess that he's got.
Yeah, he's a little bit underrated though, Jack. See just that push off, just to get that little bit of space on Ryan Gardner, who just falls back and then ends up going to the back of the contest. So that's something that we've probably, well, I certainly have underrated about his game, his smarts and his technique about creating that space to get him to be able to launch at the footy.
3 goals apiece for the term. The first 2 for the Dogs, then the Hawks with a couple, then split. So a good finish to the term. The Hawks lead it by 23 points after being 24 points up at quarter time.
Yeah, well, I think for everything that Hawthorn has done, that's been the really Hollywood Hawks, the sexy Hawks, it's been the tackling. 38 tackles last week already in the first half here. 35, so clearly they have spoken about it and worked on it, Hawk, and they've brought it tonight.
Yeah, the territory game for me, it's 32 inside 50, 50s to 18. I just don't see how you can be efficient enough to win the game of footy from there.
Hawks by 23 at halftime, Sarah.
Yes, they were under fire all week after 3 losses in a row. Sam Mitchell has the response he would be looking for. Their pressure last week was 155. Well, it's 207 in the first half against the Bulldogs. They hold a 23-point lead. Jason Dunstall, Davey King and Joey Montagna. What do you make of what we've seen so far?
Really good first half from the Hawks. A little bit beating the Dogs at their own game with some of the clearance work and territory they had early. They got the benefits on the scoreboard in the first term, didn't quite get it in the second, although they kicked a couple of goals late just to even things up. But it's a good contest, but that's only a half. And we know the Bullies will come out firing in the second half.
Done an outstanding job, the Hawks, defensively. 18 inside 50s for a half of football for the Western Bulldogs, who've been low-flying for portions of this season. That's their lowest half-time tally for the year. I just think the battle of Barras v Norton is critical to this matchup. At the moment, he's diffusing everything. They're trying to expose lesser and junior talent
at deep defensive positions. Not working for the Dogs just yet.
And mindset's played a big factor. I mean, the Hawks' mindset, absolutely chalk and cheese from last week with their effort and their intensity. And for whatever reason, the Bulldogs just looked off. Coming off the bye, they've been flat and they're now chasing their tail.
Luke Beveridge said when he spoke to us, he expected Hawthorn to come out with that intensity and he was hoping his boys would be able to match it. Well, so far they haven't been able to. Let's have a look at our Harvey Norman highlights. It is Josh Werrell. JC is one of your favourite players. 338 metres gained, 1 goal, 12 disposals. What have you liked?
I love watching him play. He's athletic. He takes the game on. That's what makes him incredibly unpredictable for opposition teams, because he can run and carry. He's a terrific mark, starts down back, and then he just goes with the flow. Now, that was a pretty ordinary hand pass from close range. He's got 2 opponents and he runs away from them and kicks the goal on the run after a bounce. He's got great confidence in his ability to elude, to cover ground, to take off. And he takes some really good intercept marks as well. So I think he's been a really big player for the Hawks in the first half. A lot to like about his game.
Like his intent. His intent when he won the footy to go, I think just created that mindset, gave the rest of the team a little bit of a sort of spark with their offence to just get it moving, take some risks, and I've really enjoyed his first half. He's been everywhere and he's got a bit of swagger back as well, which the Hawks need. That's when they're at their best, and I've loved the way he's gone about it.
All right, we're going to have a look at the Hawthorn ball movement. Kingy, we spoke before the game about those kicks that just weren't working for them so far this season. What have you noticed tonight?
Yeah, the long switches and the competition's onto it. So you can see this ball come down the line. There's that battle we talk about again. You can see Barris at virtually 80 metres from his own goal. Battle takes this intercept mark in. Now, they've been trying to long switch this. So that covered that, the Dogs. But they weren't ready to reset for the second time. And this ends up in that Weddle goal you just saw. So right now, you've got Karmas who's split between 2 Hawk defenders, and this is good ball use. This is just taking what's available. Bring it in. OK, it's green lights now. Now we're out. Clever little kick here into the corridor, splits Karmas, leaves him standing isolated, and Weddle does the rest. This is an amazing goal, but the build-up is what they haven't had for weeks. So they've kicked 4 goals out of their defensive half. It's been outstanding. And it came back to the right person having the ball, Carl Amon, who can make that kick into the centre square with confidence.
Yeah, good call. So the long switch is gone for the Hawks tonight by the looks, but the short one is working.
All right, Joey, what is wrong with the Dogs in terms of that intensity coming off the bye and just how we need them to produce something with a bit more zest in this second half?
Yeah, it was awkward, wasn't it? I mean, it just visually they looked flat, didn't they? They just didn't have the same zest in their run early. Their contest work was just a little bit off, and defensively too. And the kicking as well was a real issue for them. They were kicking it back to the Hawks a number of times in that first half. So you can see some of the numbers there that are really disappointing for the Western Bulldogs, particularly the inside 50 differential, -14. They are number 1 in the competition at inside 50s. They normally own the game in their forward half. But again, when they were challenged in that first quarter, Hawthorn broke even in the clearance game. We showed it, we put it on the radar pre-game. It just puts the Western Bulldogs defence under pressure, and they don't look settled tonight. Ryan Gardner coming back into the team hasn't really helped them. I mean, this is a complete breakdown. To have Marbior Child just stroll through the middle of Marvel Stadium with 50 metres of space. You'd never, ever get that as a forward inside your own forward 50. So there's either a lack of communication, a lack of intent. That was one example. Then there was this sort of defensive 50 stoppage. The Dogs are normally good in this area. Not one person stands on Connor Nash inside your own defensive 50. That's another breakdown. So is that saying mentally they're just not switched on? They're not organised. They haven't got their heads in the game. And then also their ability to win one-on-one contests. We spoke about it. So this is just a high ball from a centre clearance. Really, you should be able to defuse this. Bramble just caught on the back foot. That led to another goal. So they need to tighten up, get their heads in the game defensively if they want to get back in this contest.
Let's sharpen our focus a bit on Aaron Norton, Kingy, and some vision and some ideas you've picked up there.
Well, clearly the idea is to get Barris up the ground. That's fine in a mechanical sense, a structural sense. And there's times where this has worked. But let's be honest, they need this guy hitting the scoreboard. One possession in the forward 50. They've only targeted him once inside forward 50. And I understand the logic that when you do go in, you're going to be against the opposition wingmen or halfbacks in a really vulnerable area. But they need Aaron Norton to be the man. They can't wait for Darcy to come back in a few weeks or whenever that is. Karmas isn't getting the job done, but they need Norton now to go to full forward and control the aerial battle.
Yeah, I guess it's a really difficult one for Luke Beveridge, because you can sit there, Kingy, and say, well, OK, but we're going at 50% scoring every time we go inside 50. Is that because we've been able to manipulate and get Barras out of the defensive 50 and create opportunities by running into space and those sorts of things. But they're not getting enough ball in there at the moment to actually cut into that margin.
Yeah, so it's the arm wrestle of philosophy, really. But if you look at the half-back line area, the Hawks have been able to kick 3 goals on counter punch.
Yeah.
So it's actually worked for Battle and Barras being in that area. So I think they've got to make a change, the Dogs, and I'll be tying him to the goal square for the last 60 minutes.
All right, let's head to Cameron Mooney, who wants to take a closer look at Hawthorn's pressure. They're certainly bringing it, Moons.
Well, it's been the talk all week, hasn't it, Sarah? Last week they were pretty poor, weren't they? 155 pressure rating last week, which I think was their 3rd lowest in the club's history. So tonight they've really picked up. It was noticeable from the very get-go. Have a look at this little thing here for Battle. Just the little thing. It's the 1%ers king. We used to talk about him at North Melbourne under Dennis Pagan all the time. They're the things that really do get the game going your way. Things aren't going well, you just do the 1%ers, you just do the little things, you do the tackles, you do the smothers, you do the chases, you do the spoils, all of those type of things. And it's these blokes here, Battle and Barras, who I think have been quite exceptional in the air for their team tonight. And I just think they're setting the platform for their boys down the field. So for me, if they just keep this pressure up, I think they're up for a big result tonight. Their pressure has been outstanding. The Bulldogs did come back with their little pressure rating in that second quarter, but right now it is Hawks who are absolutely smothering them at the moment.
They certainly are. Thanks very much, Moons. Well, on Tuesday night, it is the most significant night on the football calendar, the Australian Football Hall of Fame. Last year, Chief was elevated to legend status. Who will be honoured this year? Fox Footy will be there. Gerard Whateley with all the brilliant interviews. It is a night not to be missed. That's Tuesday right here on Fox.
All right, folks, they'll be back with the commentators not too far away. Lee, me going toast, welcome in. Good to see you, good to see you. Of course, it's the Hawks putting on 3 goals, 2 in that second term. 3 goals, 3 to the Doggies. So the Dogs actually won that by a point that second term. The Dogs looked like they were back on track to bring this game up closer. But the Hawks fought on tough and did it well. And got that margin, well, back out the 23 points, 8-4, 52 the Hawks, 4-5, 29 the Doggies. Hawks kicking a little bit straighter. The Dogs need to kick straighter if they want to get back into this match and take their chances, because it's the Hawks. The Hawks are controlling this game this evening, folks. This evening, let's go and have a little bit of a look. Someone was asking about the goal scorers. Let's have a look at the goal scorers so far. Who's kicking them all? And for the Hawks, we've only got one multiple goal scorer out there this evening on the ground. Of course, Mo Chol, he's kicked 2. Josh Weddle, Jai Newcomb, Connor Nash, Connor McDonald, Jack Gunston, Jack Ginnivan, the other single goal scorers there for the Hawks. And of course, for the Western Bulldogs, Bailey Williams, Ed Richards, Matthew Kennedy, James Harms are the single goal scorers there for the Western Bulldogs. Disposal magnets, Ed Richards, Matty Kennedy lead the way for the Doggies out on the ground this evening with 16. Ed Richards going well, 4 clearances. He's kicked a goal. Matty Kennedy with the 16 touches, 2 clearances, also a goal there for the Dogs. Josh Ward, Jai Newcomb tops the table with 14 for the Hawkers. And of course the Bont starting to pick up a few possessions, 13 touches, 3 clearances, but he's only stuck the 2 behinds. He'll be looking forward to getting a goal on the board. Jack Ginnivan up to 11 for all you Hawks. He's kicked that 1 goal, as I said. Tim English, the big man for the Doggies, 11 touches, 16 hit-outs, 4 clearances. Not too bad. Tom Liberatore, a little bit quiet this evening. Hawks are pegging him down quite well. He'll be looking forward to getting let off the leash. Of course, Adam Treloar first came back for a while, just the 8 touches for him. Just working his way into the game slowly. Ambrosio, just the 8 touches. Sam Butler, 8 touches for the Hawks. So we roll on down. Jack Gunston, yet to fire too much, but look thereabouts in the opening half. He's had 7 touches, 6 kicks, of course, 4 marks. He's kicked that 1 goal. The handball received off Chol got him the goal there. And, of course, Mo Chol playing well, looking good out there this evening, just with his 6 touches, 2 kicks, 2 goals. Of course, he gave that goal off to Gunston. And there we go. Let's have a look at some of the team stats. It's the Hawks by 19 in the disposal count overall in this match. And there we go. 29, or is it 19? 29 kicks plus. And of course, the Doggies plus 10 in the handballs. Inside 50s. Hawks defence doing fantastic job there, just keeping the Dogs to inside 50 18 times. Wow, the Dogs are scoring 1 every 2 times they're going in there with their 9 scoring shots. Hawks getting plenty of opportunity. 32 inside 50s above the season average there for their 12 scoring shots. Their efficiency, Hawks are pretty good around the ground. Efficiency at 76%. 66 for the Doggies. They need to lift that there. I'll tell you what, the umpires, they haven't blown the whistle much, have they, tonight, folks? 5 apiece, only 5 free kicks. So she's pretty even, 5 free kicks apiece. Hit-outs, Hawks doing it there by plus 6. Clearances, Dogs always pretty good in the clearances. They're plus 6 in the clearances and plus 7 in the stoppage clearances. Centre clearances, though, Hawks doing the job there just by the single one, 6-7. Hawks by 1. Contested possession. That's a pretty contested game, this one this evening, 74-71. Uncontested. Well, the Hawks are just chipping it around. That's a little bit of their way they play, getting that shorter mark, etc. like that. So the Hawks are doing that. They got their game on their terms this evening. With that aspect, like I was just saying, 55 marks there to the Hawks, 34 to the Doggies, plus 21 there. Marks inside 50, both teams having opportunity with 5 and 7. Contested, a little bit stronger in the air are the Hawks, 10-5 in the contested mark. Both teams tackling pretty well, 35 apiece. I think they were saying that the Hawks only had about 38 for the entire game last week, so good to see the Hawks bringing their pressure in tonight's game. This is like the Hawthorn that we used to seeing. This is the Hawthorn we know, 35 already, well above season average of 58. And of course, Hawks tackle that pressure inside 59 tackles, season average pretty much. Doggies, wow-wee, come on, Dogs, you need to bring a little bit more inside 50 pressure. Let's get that going. You have not laid a tackle inside 50. So you definitely need to do that right there. There we go. All right, we're only 5 minutes away. Let's have a look. Western Bulldogs at 4 goals and 5 points. Liam, that is correct. 4 goals, 5. So if you're unfamiliar, the first number is the goals they've scored, which are worth 6 points each. And the 5 is the behinds, which are worth 1 point each. So 6 fours are 24 plus the 5 behinds, 5 is 29. So that's the object. They've got to get the goals worth 6. It's 49 I'm watching right now. 49 what? Toast. 49 what? 8 goals for the Hawks. Exactly right, Liam. Thanks, Tina, for staying around in there. Emmanuel, how you doing? How you doing, Squire? Interesting scoreline, it certainly is. We didn't expect at a quarter time to be 4 goals, back to 23 points at half time. What's going to happen? Who's going to win? We've still got in our vote poll today on this game. You can still vote if you head over to the poll. You can vote who you think is going to win, Western Bulldogs or Hawthorn. Of course, 67% still saying Western Bulldogs are going to win this game. 33% have gone for Hawthorn. Tell you what, as you said, this game, folks, can still go any way. These are 2 classy sides. Steve, how you going? Are Hollywood Hawks back? So far they're all right. I tell you what, so far they've played pretty good brand of footy. Defensive side really good against the Bulldogs, kept them pretty closed down with, I think it was just the 18 inside 50s for the Dogs. So that's really good. I think the Hawks are bringing pressure tonight. I saw their pressure gauge up to about 190, 200. So that's good. It'd be nice to see them still get above that, continue their pressure. They need to keep doing this for 4 quarters. If they drop off at all, this will give the Bulldogs the sliding door, and they'll open it up because the Dogs are a very classy side. The Dogs have been just on fire the past, 4 to 6 weeks. And they've been one of the teams, in form teams, even though they're sitting, as we have a look at the live ladder, that is the normal ladder. So prior to the live ladder, Western Bulldogs were 9th. So this was a must-win game for the doggies. Of course, got a lot on the line after after coming off the bye and a big let-up. Hawthorn, I think, was coming off about a 5-day break. This is an important game also for Hawthorn, because if Hawthorn lose this, there is a chance they could slip outside of the top 8 after this round. But the Hawks win this, they'll be 32 and they'll cement themselves in the top 8 for another week, which is exactly what, when you turn the live ladder on, putting Hawthorn with that win gives them a game and percentage in front of their next rival. So that's really good. That's right. It's got to be 4 quarters. We know Hawthorn are a good side. So we know they can do that. The Hawks. They just haven't been doing that in recent time. And of course, the opposition in the past few weeks, they've been shutting Hawthorn down. They haven't been letting Hawthorn play their style, their brand of football that they like, that they're accustomed to. And of course, that was getting them into real trouble. But of course, tonight, more than not, Hawthorn have been playing the game tonight on their terms, their brand of style, the way they like to play. And this is keeping the Hawks in front and doing what they need to do. Cruz is cool. Said hi, Shouty, how you going? How you doing? But yeah, we'll find out in the second half. As I said, neither team wants to drop off. The dogs look a little bit flat-footed, Adrian, as you can see. But I think that's the speed. As I said last week, I think Hawthorn. Who did Hawthorn play last week? Was that Collingwood or a different team? But anyway, I said Hawks look dangerous, when they're running with speed and got that flow of players with the handball received, ducking back through the, back through the corridor, etc. like that. And that's sort of what they're doing tonight. They're playing with speed. Hey, the Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. How you doing? Yo, yo, yo. So that's what the Hawks are doing. They're getting those short chips and etc. They're playing their game tonight the way they like to play. So the Hawks in good stead. 8 goals, 4 and a plus there. Straight kicking. Well, they're accurate kicking. Of course, one of those behinds, the 8 goals, 4, came off just above the knee of Gunston. So that could have been either 9-3 or 8-4, and it was 9-4 because it was marginally high. So I'm going well. It's always fantastic when the footy's back around. Thursday night footy, of course, here. You guess the Bulldogs, as I was saying, the storybook, as I was saying, if the Hawks drop off at all, that's just going to open the door up for the doggies, and it sort of did here. As you can see, late in that second term, where was that? No, that's the Hawk. It was here. Within a couple of minutes, the Dogs just put on a couple, but the Hawks got their groove back again and continued to do what they think. So, either both of these sides, they can score fast. So, that's why it's important. You've got to keep the pressure up. Keep hunting your opposition. The Dogs, like the Hawks, have had many inside 50 tackles. That pressure. The Dogs have had 0. Right, that's enough for me. Let's get back down to the ground. Whereas the Hawks by 23. Let's go to the second half.
In the first turn.
Thanks, mate. Rucks.
Yeah, Lob's gone forward here, playing deep.
Pick up by Tom Hawkins alongside Jack Reebok. Mi just mitts Nash on the transition. Nash will get another opportunity. Davidson can't get away from Morrison.
So Sam Darcy's slated to come back next week against the Saints on Thursday night. So they want that other tall forward at the moment.
Yes, has been dominant at half-back, Lob, but they've got no choice but to send him forward. Need to kick a score, and he knows it.
I think it's also to combat what Tom Barras has done early on.
Yeah, good point. That's Beveridge, who we expect. It'll be announced in the next week or so. Has signed a new longer-term deal to stay at the Dogs. We expect it, but they lose this, they'll be outside of the 8. Morrison gets there, shrugs, feeds the handball further on than Newcomb. Drills it wide, didn't have a target to go to. It's over Gunston's head, and out of play's a win, really. You get a ball in.
They're big ramifications for both clubs, that a win and a loss. So an intriguing second half.
Hawks take on Adelaide next Friday night. The Dogs take on St Kilda on the Thursday, potentially with the return of Sam Darcy. What a story that would be. Meantime, here at Eamon, it's an aggressive ball into the middle of Marvel Stadium. Moore can't complete the mark. Liberatore, ground level, Harms gets away from a couple of tacklers. Dale whips it out wide. Chain of hand pass back with Liberatore. Ward's got an opportunity to intercept. Missed it first time, did well second time. Now McDonald, and Newcomb stacks on the mill.
You can fall in love with the forward handball, but what it does do, if you're coming up a good defence, it invites pressure and can create turnovers, and we saw that exactly there from Hawthorn.
The tackle pressure's been awesome. Down to Ward, he's been fantastic. Pass Child, rolling ball, huge ball to win. Child got a little touch on it. Gunston goes and gets. Hawk fans thought they deserved a free. They're now going to have one against them. Gunston was wrapped up ball.
Could have been a free kick to Marvio Child there, but great follow-up from O'Donnell there.
I thought momentarily about the switch and in the end took the conservative option. Barris, again, he's been spoiling all night. Back to Weddle, kicked a brilliant goal in the first term. Sweeping hand pass from Amon was beautiful to Hardwick. Takes ground through the middle of Marvel. High up and under. Gilman will be 2-on-1. Brings it to ground level. Harms held in the tackle for a fair period of time. Ward can't get the spoil. Bramble goes back. Dale just dropped it trying to exit. And if Liberal can't get through a tackle, no one can.
It's the second handball chain that we've seen on that side of the ground. And in the last 2 minutes, it's resulted in a turnover. The Dogs' handball game's a little bit off in this third quarter.
Early momentum could be huge to start this second half. Hard wraparound tackle. Libba working in tight spaces, and Newcomb always does likewise. English and Meek. Nash, Ward, Newcomb again. A little room. The drop step was nice. The kick at goal wasn't so. It's on the full.
Joel, back this way. Outside 5, keep coming.
The Hawks pressing early without adding to the score. They led by 24 at half-time. And the current 23-point margin at the major break.
Move it on. Higher.
Awful having a spell. It's an aggressive ball to Bontempelli. Picked the right man for the task. Plays on. The champ. Slides into the middle. The Hawks get a fist on it through Eamon. Tracking back Hardwick. Vandermeer. Been feisty tonight. Morrison. Another good game. And effective to Dylan Moore. Hawks love him at the All-Australian best. That is not his best turnover. That could hurt them. Coming the other way. Weddle does well to pin the ball in. The Hawks might get out of jail eventually. Amon under pressure. It's a poor turnover. Amon's done well though. Now Hardwick gives up ground.
So they've got a couple of extra players out there, Hawthorn. That was a turnover for score for all money. You thought the Dogs were swarming, but they mopped it up. Battle spears it. Nash, Newcomb, Ginnivan, D'Ambrosio in the hands of a good user now. Pulls the kick late, terrible user. Straight to Liberatore on cue.
Liberatore for his 13th disposal. Goes to centre-half back. Now the Dogs to West. Hasn't been a factor as yet. Marks in front of Hardwick. Plays on. Good build-up. Dogs have got a couple. Buku! Marks inside 50. Looks to lay it off. And does effectively to Harms.
Well, smart by Riley West. And the kick off the back from Bailey Dale was excellent through the middle of the ground, but every player bar Riley West came out to the wing. He was the one that cut back inside and actually opened up a little space for himself.
52 games in 9 years at the D's. Now the Dogs, second year, kick one goal. Harms. Bit narrow, big miss.
The last game against the Cats, 17 goals, 21, I think they kicked down there, had their opportunities. It's ones like that you don't want to let go begging.
Yeah, had the excuse of the catering maybe, foreign ground, but this is their home deck. Impey. Told to move it on. Heads wide, big pack. English and Meek go at it. Tackle late by Butler. Happy to hold it in the area. Crowd a little pensive at the moment, the Dog fans. Coming here, thought this one was ripe for the picket. Hawks with a few players out on the ropes, having lost their last three. Ward gave it out wide. Impey, D'Ambrosio. Mitchell on the back pedal. Bontempelli got there but late. English, what was it, back inside 50, and Weddle has been the man.
Well, it's got to be 50, Matt.
It is.
Just made no attempt and then just stood 3 metres over the mark. Riley West.
Weddle continues on the players searching. Ball is perfect to Ginnivan. Leeds come up towards him in Gunston. Ignored that. Wakes now. Drops it deep to Ramsden. Chol from behind, but big Tim English stands up and says, that's Sharon's mine.
I need that. Dale. Draws some traffic. Had a bounce. Karmas. Good hands. Bontempelli runs past, tells him to calm it down. Well, Karmas changed his mind after the drop. It's got to be play on, you think. It's wide. McNeil tunnelled a little, tunnelled a lot. Impey pleads his case, but lucky McNeil to take it. Sam Mitchell looking pretty calm at the moment. Why wouldn't you? They have the lead and they've held it from the outset.
Since the first goal, so important. Dogs have had one clear opportunity which they couldn't take. Chol's going to be in the game here. Spoils it in front of himself. Does he get the bounce? He's got his running mate Gunston. Elects to play on himself. Big Marbiel bangs through his third. It makes the Dogs pay for their error.
You can sense a lot of frustration amongst the Bulldogs players, a lot of arms up ahead of the footy. I like the Rory Love experiment pushing him forward, but he just, for mine, Jack, he's so far away from the football. He's sort of 60, 70 metres away from the football, so not a really impactful position down the line, leaving it up to guys like Lachlan and McNeil to be able to provide the target, which he shouldn't be reliant on. And then the ball obviously slingshots back the other way. Great pressure by Marbiol, and he wasn't giving that one off to his good mate Jack Gunston.
It's weighing up. The kick like that is so dangerous that it can't be too long. You've got to think about time in air and how much ground the defender can cover. And Marbiol covered a lot of ground quick there, and that goal was all him.
And this the biggest margin of the game. English hammers it. Logg's been sent forward. Almost had it. Still goes and gets. Gave it up. McNeil. Beautiful rolling tackle. Weddle's doing it both ways in attack and defending.
This way. Line 10. Don't block.
Dogs look for the immediate answer. Lloyd clean misses out of the ruck. Sanders, West took on the second tackler. He's got a problem. Hawks tackle pressure's been up all night. Newcomb splits it to Ginnivan. Jack's come out for his 14th disposal, kicked the opening goal of the night, his 100th career goal, the premiership tie. Now playing for his team that he grew up supporting the Hawks. They get themselves in a bit of trouble out there. In the end, the boundary line's not a bad result.
He's becoming a very good player, Jack Ginnivan. I think he was a good player in little spurts here and there, and quite a cheeky little player and crafty little forward. But he's starting to become a really good player. 30 touches a few weeks ago. He gets up the ground. I think he's become more than a role player for Hawthorn. He's an exciting machine. I'm just loving the maturity that he's starting to show as a player.
He's on that How I Met Your Mother crazy hot scale. He can be a little crazy as long as you're equal parts. And he's quite often hot. Here's Jack Ginnivan.
Do you think he gets the licence from his coach to be able to hunt up the ground, Jack?
Yeah, I like it. I think he spent a lot of time deep forward at Collingwood at early days Hawthorn, but he's got good footy IQ.
English, was that the required? Well, Weddle's marked it, and he convinced everybody it was 15 metres and takes another intercept mark.
Hasn't missed a game. 55 straight since debuting. Josh Weddle, still only a young man in football terms. He's had a big impact tonight. Hawks press again. Piercing ball forward to Gunston on the lead. Jack plays on immediately. Sees something in the form of Chol. Gardner Chol. And the double team came alongside Cleary.
So 4 intercepts marks for Josh Weddle behind the ball. He's been the mainstay. He's been protected well by his fellow key defenders.
English and Meek. It's a good battle. English smashes it. Left behind. Ginnivan heads toward goal. He had a crack at them and missed everything.
Protected by his fellow defenders.
So I think they've freed him up as a spare, but sometimes your job of Barris and the other players behind the ball is actually just to stop their players from jumping. The good sides are really good at it, Howie, and I think they're organised behind so that the communication aspect to let Josh know that he's the free to jump at the ball and that he's going to be able to jump unattended.
Jack Reebok, Tom Hawkins, Dwayne Russell and Cameron Mooney on Thursday night footy. The Hawks extended their 23-point half-time lead out to 28. Morrison, handy intercept, spins into a dangerous area. Gunston, Fraser did really well to bring that to a contested situation. Liberatore dumps in the middle. Karmas comes from behind, went a touch early. Battle, king of the intercept mark tonight, immediately spreads it forward.
Timor had a few options. The poke pass to McGuinness, just the required. Had a shot from about this distance earlier, didn't make the range. Top of the square, Charles down there. Ramsden doesn't jump. English in the congestion. Frazier got it from O'Donnell, hammers it away. It's a 2-on-2. Weddle, Battle, make that a 3-on-2. Hawks have the 3. Barris was waiting back for the handle back. It didn't come. The umpire says, I'll have it, I'll ball it up.
Oh, very lucky there, Josh Battle. Could have potentially been pinged for holding the ball.
D'Ambrosio, slick aim on, good step. Battle again. Butler needs to get rid of it. Rory Locke was coming out like the proverbial Barris, back by hand. Good pressure at this stage. The Hawks can hold up, work their way through it. Barris clears the area to Ginnivan. Spoil comes down to Harms. He's got the outnumber. Backing ball to McNeil. Run down behind. Brilliant from Harry Morrison.
Little push and shove. Ginnivan, Harms. Morrison, pick 76 he was. Really had to fight hard to be a regular in this lineup. For years he's fought that fight. Having a good season. Meek can't do something with this. The umpire says, I'll do something with it. Is that run-down tackle? It was a little high initially. The umpire didn't see it. Or saw it and didn't think it was high enough. English wide enough for that to be a ball in. Trelaw waiting to come back on. Subs for the two teams. Chenku Jap for Hawthorn and Josh Dolan for the Dogs in just game 8.
Trelaw, first game back from calf issues. Mitchell Ward runs into trouble. Barris lopes after it. Tapped it forward, probably unintentionally. Ground level, Riley Sanders.
Hawk, you spoke about Rory Lobb being too far away from the ball. I think it's actually all the Bulldogs forwards are too far away from the ball. And they look long at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, Riley West is their deepest target. I'd be wanting to get him up the ground and getting him working his opponent back to goal.
Chance for the forwards now. Hardwick leaves his man, as does Weddle. Lets him out the back, which is dangerous. West, Vandermeer, goal. 3 Hawks went up, Dogs stayed down, end result, goal.
Well, he took the punt, Riley West, being that deepest player to let his opponent go and impact the contest if Blake Hardwick didn't get a big enough fist on it, as you can see here, as defenders like to clear the contest, but comes back to the ball and in the end unselfishly hands off a nice goal assist to his mate Nathan Vandermeer.
Well, I think it's a good example of what you're speaking about, Hawk, in terms of the distance from the ball. The Dogs are sort of forced to be close to the ball there because the stoppage is just outside 50. And that contest is within that range, so that then they do get front and centre, the ball comes to the right spot. You can take a bit of a risk sometimes there, but when the ball goes down into the Hawthorn forward line, that's when they're being too long. You've got to get right up the ground, create the space out the back, play to Van Mi's strengths, play to Riley West's strengths, they're going to be the deep forward.
Gotta love that as well, letting the crowd, letting the fans, letting the kids have a touch of the famous Sharon. Dogs have some momentum now. That looked a little high on Harms. Umpire said no. McGuinness shoots it up to Nash. Further on to Ginnivan. Went with the inside of the boot. Morrison. Chip kick. McDonald. Fraser corrals him. Kick to the square. Chol! Got it! Did he hold it long enough? He did. Hit the deck hard. But this for number 4 for Marbio.
It's a courageous mark. Just caught his legs there, nothing to see.
Jack.
So maybe winded. He's still with the trainers. He's down on one knee. Most forwards want to take the kick themselves, no matter how shaken. Umpire asks the question, are you going to take your kick? Normally the answer is yes. I'll just fix my headband.
I was going to say, get the headband on first. Left foot of Marbio Child, so it suits him. No, you don't.
Couple of the all-time great forwards with us. Jack Rewalt, John Hawkins, Cam Mooney downstairs. Marbio takes as much time as he can. Gets the wind back in, gets his heart rate down. Umpire's given him more than his 30. This is a big moment for Marbio's 4th. To punch it back out to a 28-point margin. The equal biggest margin of the game. You're right behind him. He's got the best seat in the house. Shaking, but not stirred.
I didn't know Marbio Child had that in him. I haven't seen him in many contests like that where he's had to go back with a fly. It shows the evolution of a young man who's coming up to 100 games, and I reckon that's when you start to feel like you belong as a key forward. Obviously 3rd club here at Hawthorn there, but that's tough from Marbio Child to go back with the flight and take that mark. Composed himself after obviously being a little bit rattled, potentially winded there, and to go back and finish too. Just shows the growth in his game.
Yeah, and he's only taken 3 marks for the game, Jack. So he's finished with 4 shots on goal, a beautiful finish there, but he's obviously finding ways to stay involved in the game, which is a young forward's biggest challenge. How can I stay involved in the game if I'm not just marking the ball?
He's kicked 5 in matches before. He's on 4 at the moment. 5's his career best. Amon runs into trouble. Vandermeer does well to pick it up. Kennedy taps it forward cleverly. Davidson, this is good. Trelaw, this has lifted the Dogs in their fans, but he's pressured. And it's out in the full. When he first came down to Richmond, was he an impressive physical specimen, Marbio Child, Jack, or different to how he looks now?
No, he was a very, very impressive specimen. I remember him doing some 400s, and he was right out the front there.
All wide. A few Dog fans wondering why Trelaw didn't get a push in the back free. The shorts, the push to the top of the shorts is allowed, but that might have been a little backish. So the Hawks dodge a bullet there. Cleary collects. Looks for the inside kick to Dale. Really had to motor to get there. He wants the corridor. Frazier takes off. Scott Norton has the long. About to get cut down. Just got the kick, lob short. And here he's Weddle. The nudge. It's paid. He pleads his case. Who knows, maybe the one they deserve to Trelaw. Sad little bit of impact there. Footy gods. Now,
it's probably there, but like as soon as you put your hands in the back, you're giving the umpire a clear sign that you're pushing.
Same spot on the jumper that Trelaw was pushed. So he's been sent forward to kick us a goal or two, Rory. And they roar for Rory. He delivers.
Started his career as a forward, Rory Lobb. A bit of a swing man. Sam Darcy back next week, we believe. They just need that extra key forward at the moment, and more so sometimes defensively. Free kick there against Josh Weddle. The Hawthorn key defenders just dominated the Bulldogs forwards, especially the key forwards in the first half. So Luke Beveridge makes the move, puts his best key back ahead of the ball, and he's repaid him with a goal there and brings the margin back to 22 points.
Two goals apiece. Two to Marbio, Chol, Vandermeer and Lobb. Umpire goes down. And copped a blow on the way through. So there's a touch of confusion as to who's getting the footy. Going the way of Sanders. Hopefully the umpire's okay. Sanders as the Dogs press again. Barris goes with a fist. Riley West can't break the tackle. Important hand in from Ward. Now Mitchell has a bit of a run. Looks for Moore and Frazier. Moore does well to get off his man. Sits for him. Caught in a tackle. Back by hand. Butler. Now D'Ambrosio tries to fashion something. Nash with that big body gets in the way. Moore punts it forward. Kennedy gets the arms above the tackle. Bramble wasn't expecting it. Gets it and goes.
Hits out wide. He knows he's got harms. Hits him lace out. Got some momentum. The Dogs had some belief back. Flicks it over the top. So Dolan, the sub, is now on. Back to Harms. Bangs it top of the square. Rory! Got another one!
Good call, Dwayne. Dolan on. McNeil has been subbed off. Just happened about 30 seconds ago.
So Josh Dolan, they picked 31 in last year's draft, the 18-year-old in game 8. Big moment for him. And Roy Lobb. Big moment for the Dogs. They're a contender for the flag, the Dogs, but they're 9th on the ladder right now. You can't win a flag from 9th. The fight MND Blue here for his second. Wow.
Kick the absolute cover off that. I think that's when Tom Barris looks the most vulnerable. So if you can get to the back position on him and dictate that back position, Russ has to either look at you or look at the ball, and that's when he's the most vulnerable and you can get him.
Amon takes the bounce as a Spare Sharon comes onto the ground in the background. Important 5 minutes, 4.5 to go.
Certainly going up a notch here at Marvel Stadium tonight. It's very willing out there.
Jath, the unused sub. McNeil subbed out. Amon. Ward up for his 22nd disposal, leads the Hawks. Dale's got 19, leading the Dogs. Contested ball, there is Dale for his 20th. By hand. He turned it over, free kick. Advantage paid the way of the Hawks. So Chol, who's got 4, comes from behind full of confidence, but the Dogs have got the answers in the air through O'Donnell.
Just didn't need to play on there, Gunston. Needed to take a breath, allow some space to open up, let the free kick play out.
Trelaw to Williams. Plenty of time left for the Dogs. Threatening to be a thrill of this one. Norton comes hard, so they're starting to fire the key Dogs. Kick smothered. Brilliant smother. McDonald thumps it long. Will get him and get there. O'Donnell, awesome.
That is courage personified. Knew he had to go. One of the worst feelings in AFL footy, going back with a flight like that.
Brilliant by O'Donnell. Going to spark his team late in the third. Trelaw. Sanders back to Trelaw on the overlap. Takes ground. Good ball forward. Vandermeer on the stretch. Impey, Richards. Steams through his kick run. Back to Vandermeer. Another one coming for the Dogs. Here they come. Vandermeer's got a couple.
beautiful ball movement there by the Dogs. And Rory Lobbs, clearly it was an injective, Jack, and you talked about it. Tom Brassett had a huge impact as he comes off for a spell in that first half. But you see Rory Lobb get Tom Barrass up the ground. We can see him down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen there. Just the ability to be able to get him up, who's been able to control the Hawthorn defence, along with Josh Battle's been really important. So I've loved the fact that he's getting him up the ground, working him over, putting him under the pump, which allows Vandermeer and West and some of these smalls to get out the back, and they're hitting the scoreboard.
And there is the great Simon. Cricket for Australia, VFL for St Kilda. Watching his son James strut his stuff. Superstar family. And this game is evolving nicely. For those that have joined us late, the Dogs have never led this game. Bontempelli, good cut down tackle. And Newcomb, secondary ball up. Meek, little tap down. Newcomb slams on the boot. Got good distance. Almost empty from the spill. O'Donnell with a shepherd. Waited for Bramble. Knocked out. Gunston lurking. He says to Jarman, you go get it. And he goes for it from the pocket. Not sure that was part of the grand plan. But it's a behind.
Walker was subbed out. See him there. Jath comes in. So I think he was drifting forward there. Jath now on Vandermeer. So Mickey's currently wandering around the half-forward line. Meek grabs it out of the ruck. Needs to release. Does just. Ward. Possession 23. Real up and under. Ginnivan comes. McDonald had no time to get rid of Bontempelli. Here goes Sanders. The Dogs, they're pressing. By hand, Trelaw. Faced by the couple of Hawks. Bontempelli says no to Jack Ginnivan on the tackle. Sends it forward. Norton, they're starting to flow. Norton plays on. Hangs the ball up. Davidson can't complete the mark. Back by hand. Centering ball to a dangerous area. Hawks under pressure. Well, mark free kick. Take your pick.
Front on contact free.
Davidson was the one that had the opportunity. Marcus Bontempelli through the middle of the ground. He said, no, thank you. Aaron Norton's starting to find his way into the game as well. This man here, Josh Weddle, he was that last line of defence again.
1:20 left in the third. Long loss to Newcomb. Got hands to it, couldn't mark it. Dale collects it. And the Dogs get one more before the break. Heads long, Richards protected the drop zone. Didn't get it. Amon got it. He was in turn got from the scramble. Ball knocked away. Seconds tick down to a minute. Trelaw's under it. Couldn't quite get the kick that he was after. Dolan, Norton, inside kick. Ward, not the required. Drop step was delightful. The kick not so. The Dogs will get a roll of the dice here.
One-hander on the bench for the Dogs, 60 seconds, but they are pressing. Kick the last two.
Outside 5.
Now down to 30 seconds, according to the big board. O'Donnell sends it forward. The Hawks hanging on with everything they can. Big Lloyd stands up. 43 on the clock.
There's a big mark there from Lloyd Meek.
Could turn it over, straight to Bramble. He plays on immediately. Lockie Bramble against his former side. Here they come again. The Dogs, Norton English. All the big boys there. Impey scoops it out to Avon. He's pushed, shoved, and kicks it out on the full. 20 seconds on the clock. Trelaw.
Looking for the short one.
Now plays on. Trelaw. Again, the Dogs press. And again, the Hawks manage to get it to ground. Pressure ball, Jaff tries to screw it out. As does Nash. Falls to a dangerous area. Chol, the 4-goal hero. Hawks under pressure. They'll work down the siren, breathe a sigh of relief. And by gee, there's a big last quarter coming on Thursday night footy. Hawks lead it by 16 points at the final break after Lobb and Vandermeer kicked the last two. Hawthorn 10-5, 65. Western Bulldogs 7-7-49. The Hawks by 16 points. Massive weekend of footy coming, including one of the great days on the football calendar, King's birthday. The Big Freeze live from 2 p.m. on Fox. All the costumes, and then Melbourne taking on Collingwood live from 3. The Hawks by 16 at the final break.
Holy moly, folks, we've got a game on our hands here. Check this out, 10-5, 65, 7-7, 49. The Hawks putting on 2 goals, 1 in that third term. The Dogs, 3 goals, 2. I'll tell you what, that was just, folks, that was just incredible defence by the Hawks. And I don't know how the Dogs didn't score a major within that last 45 seconds. They peppered into their forward 50. Wow, fantastic job by the Hawks in that last minute to sustain the Bulldogs from scoring a major and getting this margin back to 10 points. A 16-point margin here. I tell you what, the Dogs do feel like they got a little bit of momentum late in that third term. I tell you what, we're in for a ring-a-ding-ding final quarter. Don't go anywhere. Tell you what, even the poll has settled down a bit. 66% now say the Dogs. 34 say the Hawthorn can win this game. Who's going to win it? We're going to find out. About 30 more minutes. We'll find out who the victor's going to be. Maybe we can get a draw on this game. Whew, I tell you what, I think overall, the Hawks have been slightly the better team so far for 3 quarters. But I tell you what, the Dogs, they did look like they were coming, just like Adrian Sport Channel said, here come the Doggies. It certainly looked that way. I think the Hawks were pretty happy. I think they were pretty happy the siren went. Exactly 14-15 in the scoring shots. So it certainly does make a difference when you kick accurate. It could have been 9-5, just a goal, but 7-7, 10-5. We'll be doing the Cats game Sunday, Cats Suns game Sunday for my birthday. Oh, happy birthday for Sunday, by the way. If I'm home, I'll do it. I'll just have to check and see what the boss is doing. I'll just tell you what, that's going to be a cracking game. Cats and the Suns down at the Cattery. You know what? For mine, I think the Cats will win that. The Suns, I still don't think the Suns are really good travellers away from home. So I think the Cats will probably take that one out. But it should be a fantastic game. The Cats don't want to underestimate the Suns by any form, though. That is for sure. Tell you what, we are in for a cracking last quarter. I still can't pick, even though there's a 16-point margin here at 3/4 time, I still can't pick a winner. My original pick was the Dogs. But you know what? The Hawks are just holding on and they're doing what they need to do. But the Dogs were starting to come late in that third term. So will they have the momentum? I tell you what, she's going to be interesting if the Dogs open up with the opening 2 goals of this final term. Wowee. Then we're going to put some pressure on back. Can they sustain it? Oh, I don't know. Hey, let's just have a look at the live ladder at the moment. Live ladder, Hawthorn sitting 6th. There we go. Western Bulldogs still 9th. Western Bulldogs need to win this to jump into the top 8. And, of course, Hawthorn, they need to win it to stay in the top 8. If the Hawks happen to lose tonight, there's a possibility, as I said, they can get booted out of the top 8 this weekend. Just look at the disposal getters. Let's have a quick look at the major goal scorers. Mo Chol, he's leading the way with 4 goals for the Hawks. And Vandermeer for 2 goals for the Bulldogs. They're the main goal scorers so far. Josh Ward for the Hawks now tops the table with 24. Bailey Dale 22 for the Doggies. Newcomb 21. They're the only 3 in the top 20. Of course, the Bont is still down there on 18. Just look out if he has a big last quarter. That's what the Dogs will be hoping for. Of course, Hawks will be wanting that Mayo Chol keeps on going because he's played a fantastic game so far, has Chol. So, folks, I just still can't pick a winner. Don't forget to vote. Let's see how the vote goes by the end of this game. It's going to be a cracking game. Whoever's going to win, it could come down to what I've been saying. It could come down to the final kick or a kick after the siren. It could come down to that. This game is so tight. That's anyone's game. Hawks lead. Dogs got the momentum, as I was saying. Let's see what happens in the early stages of the final quarter, this could be very, very important. Who gets the opening goal or two? All right, let's get back down to the ground. They'll be bouncing the ball in about 15 seconds, so let's take it back down there so we can hear all the action. Where it's the Hawks by 16 points.
Wide of the ball a little bit later on. Those are the type of things that we love. We love him launching at the ball. If you're a Hawthorn player, if you're a Hawthorn supporter, you want to see this man launch in this last quarter and hopefully get another goal or two. Do himself a nice little PB.
Yeah, well, I think Mario Child, and this is the mark here, is the intensity that you see in his game is when you know that he's on. So I think defensively, the way he's set up, obviously the turnover, single-handedly turned the ball over and got a goal off himself. For someone who can be described as laconic and can sometimes float through in a game, he really looks on tonight.
He does, and he's got the opportunity, Jack, to end up with 5, 6, and you know, who knows with how Hawthorn can move the ball in the last quarter, how many can end up with. He's been very influential.
The move of this man forward, they weren't getting a great deal out of Norton. Lob a contested mark, bringing it to ground.
Yeah, he's played a really important role, obviously nullifying the impact that Tom Barras has had in the air. But Western Bulldogs, their territory game was what impressed me that quarter. 13 inside 50s apiece is where they need to get to again.
So it comes down to this one quarter of footy. Dogs need to win it to get into the 8. Lob's been the man sent forward, as we told you. Richards off the deck. Karmas turns inside. Sanders! No. What a moment that was to start this final term. Dogs need to win it to get into the 8. Hawthorn need to win it. Otherwise, they look like being outside the 8 come the end of the round.
Both subs activated. McNeil and Warple both seemingly off for tactical reasons. Meek at the back of the contest.
Back Lloyd and Tim.
Meek. Arms. Big Lloyd applies a vice-like tackle.
I reckon Sam Mitchell can sense the moment in his sent Connor Nash to Marcus Bontempelli. Clearly doesn't want to let the Bulldogs captain win this game for his team.
You don't get beaten by what you know. We know that Marcus Bontempelli could rip this game away from you. And Nash gets a touch on him. Hammers it to half forward. Boundary line on wing, you would think. And helped out by O'Donnell. And get a ball in.
I see Nash towering over Marcus Bontempelli. Bontempelli 194 centimetres. Just shows how big the Irishman is and how versatile he is for them as well.
Just forward of the wing for the Hawks. Free kick to Newcomb. He was held off the footy. It's against Newcomb, who was arguing his case. Kennedy gets it. Media gives it to English. Another opportunity for the Dogs. Takes his time, Big Tim. Now to Richards, 18 disposals and a goal. Gets it back on the 1-2, piercing ball forward. Good build-up. Dogs really threatening. West into the pocket, but Hardwick read it beautifully. Backed himself and took the mark.
There was a poor kick by Bailey Williams. Just had to find the space in front of Riley West. He doesn't want that ball sitting on his head.
Gimpy might go here from 5 deep. You bet he will. And 50.
Tom Liberatore, I think, paid by the umpire in the middle of the ground against Dillamore.
Just having a chat about where the 50 ends. Jarman was hoping he'd get a couple of more metres than that.
It's a big one.
Stand there.
Little nod. Head to the left. Eyes are darting.
There's not much movement here, so I reckon this will be a pull late.
He does. He goes to the area that he said he was going to. A little too wide for everyone bar Bailey Dale, who's going to get a free kick for on the full.
You were the king of that Hawk, that sort of little pocket play in the forward pocket. What was the little signal you looked for?
Always trying to put the hands on the heads, pretend I was a bit tired. But I mean, that's a smart kick, but it's just too wide.
Richards starting to really dominate this game. Weddle away from him. Bontempelli tracks it back, gets his hands away from the tackle. Harms does the same. West, little jink. Now looks to the middle. They're building here, the Dogs. Turn it over straight to Hardwick. Wasn't the distance. Now to Weddle. Forward hand pass, 20 metres. Impey spreads it out further wide. And it'll end up with Ginnivan. And if anyone backed himself from here, it's Jack Ginnivan.
There's another really good intercept there from Blake Hardwick. Just turned around at the right time. The kick didn't have enough to get over the top of him from Riley West. It's a crucial turnover.
Big moment in the game. Some athletes like it in this situation. Ginnivan's one of those. Kick the opener of the game from a tight angle. Ginnivan hits it very narrow.
Libba let him know too.
I think he did the photograph back to him there.
Libba did the photograph back.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. Frazier. A bounce and he goes. Heads wide. Harms and West. Weddle couldn't get near it. Almost got it anyway. Ball in. Perfectly poised for a big finish. The Dogs have not led tonight. Hawks have led by as much as 25. Make that 28.
More work for Treloar. 15 disposals. Back into the big time. Nash, nice break. Hits 55. Chol's already got 4. Impey forward. Here comes Chol. Picks it up nicely. Back to Impey. Snapping around the corner. Here's a moment. And Impey arrives and nails it. Big opener for the Hawks. And celebrates his little one. First child a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully in better sleep.
You're going to pose the question, how does Connor Nash come out of the front of a stoppage? Sort of unattended, really. But he just waltzed through here. Put it to a really strong position. Jarman Impey was the one that went up. Marbiel Cho has been good in the air and on the ground today. That's his second direct goal assist, Hawken. A great sign of a key forward that is in form in the air and also finding ball at ground level.
Yeah, you talk about Connor Nash, who was pivotal in that goal-scoring chain, and he got out the front by Giant Newcomb being able to go to the body on Marcus Bontempelli. So you touched on his importance and the fact that you don't want to get beaten by him. So it's clearly a team focus as Josh Ward goes and gets some body on him now at this contest.
From the palm down, Bontempelli nearly. Richards. Top of the square, lob. Got there waylaid, couldn't mark it. Vandermeer lurking, wrapped up, taken down, threw it away. Umpire saw it late. Throw the call. Free kick, Hawthorn, and they're doing everything right at the moment.
Barris to Giath, the activated sub for Warple. Well done, Frazier plays on, immediately looks ahead of him. Norton was on the short lead, just too far out, Norton. Now plays on, scything ball to the top of the square. Rory, Bontempelli, Mitchell, Sanders, back by hand, West, stripped to the footy, contest to be won. Rory arrives, Newcomb's there, the Hawks desperate. They survive only just.
Desperate is the word, Howie. This is a different team that's turned up this week.
Massive pack around it. Ball hits the carpet. Umpire will toss it in the air again. Beacon English to do the right work. Bontempelli being minded by Newcomb at the moment. Meek took it out of the air. English went and got him. Another ball up.
You've only got to look at the tackle stat. 38 last week against Collingwood. They've had 68 already. Bulldogs only 51.
Beacon English. Butler. Hardwick chases after it. Loses his feet. Frazier, here's a beast. Comes back to Gardner. Up and under pressure. Weddle. Richards. Ward. Had a bit more time than he thought. Sent an important ball to the wing. Gardner can't take the mark. Over the top of it. McDonald holds it up as long as he can to a dangerous area. Now the Dogs get the ball in the hands of Dolan. They go through the middle of Marvel Stadium. Kennedy, Richards, West, starved of opportunities tonight. Sends it towards Bontempelli. There's the lot.
It took Newcomb to the goal square there, the ball. But they couldn't get it to him. So Newcomb, the other recipient of the out on the full free in the back pocket. Sends it to that Ramsden Meek English battle. Kennedy picked it up. They quickly got him though from the scramble. Just hammered away with some hope. McDonald got it towards half forward. Ginnivan, that was clever. He looks around, has a bounce, has another. The run to paradise for Ginnivan. He shores the ball and slams it into the second deck. You gotta love him, even if you hate him.
Well, I think Gardner, he needed to take the body of Jack Ginnivan there. That last line of defence, it was too easy for Ginnivan to tap it over the top. You can see here, antagonising the Bulldogs defence. But it was this critical moment here. Had to take the body. As soon as you miss the ball of the body, it is a foot race here. And Marbiot Child just blocks and gives Jack Ginnivan one of the easiest goals he'll kick. Walks in, shows the footy. He's high-fiving the crowd too.
Shows the footy. Remember Nathan Brown doing that back in the day for the Dogs, and the opposition kicked the next 6 and they got rolled. So the Hawks back out to a 27-point margin on the back of some Ginnivan brilliance. The Dogs need to go. They'll take the advantage. West does that. Tries to bang one inside 50. Long been a good move forward. Big kick going up for Rory. Kick one, miss one.
You liked his work ahead of the ball, Hawk?
Yeah, I have. I've loved his positioning. He's obviously fixed it up.
Big kick this for Rory. The number 7. Couple of steps. Tugs it a touch. And the Hawks have another let off.
Yeah, he's fixed it up and become closer to the ball carrier. I just think early on when he played down forward, he just got way too deep. So he's in the contest, allowing himself to get at the ball and have the 3 shots at goal.
Time slipping away for the Dogs now. Amon sends it long. Meek, Ramsden, both tools were there. Lob to the crumb. Richards wrapped up, dropped it. It's congested. The umpire will sort it out again.
So the battle for Luke Beveridge now is Marcus Bontempelli. Where do you put him? Is it at the contest at the moment? I'd love to see him forward as well.
Meek grabs out of the ruck, spirals towards the wing. Chil's got 4 goals, uses his body to try and open the door for Gunston. He's doing it all himself tonight. Chil dropped, done. Touch ambitious.
Cam Mooney getting involved in the action down there. Got the best view of Marbiot Child dropping the ball.
It just about took me out too. He's a big unit.
Gardner wide, Treloar, arm chop. Pushing them back. Davidson wants it back. He doesn't give it back. It's like getting through the game. His return from a calf issue. Treloar, which is good news for all. English. Lobs forward. Norton's forward. Kick is pulled late. Bontempelli the target. Couldn't mark it. Again, it's congested when it hits the deck. Hawthorn with numbers around it. Morrison. Jaff. Weaves his way past a couple. Nash. Ginnivan. Back to Nash. Hunter down. Little push on Davidson was nice. Gunston tried the same. The don't argue didn't work. You got an argument from Treloar.
Like Rory Long got a poke in the eye in that last aerial contest.
Lloyd, he's been big in the ruck, grabs it out numerous times and does it again. Moore, Gunston overlap to Morrison, breaks a tackle. They've broken a few tackles tonight, the Hawks. Now Ginnivan been important. Impey slides one inside beautifully to Dylan Moore. Looks like he wants to lay it off, does Moore.
Just doesn't need a rush here, though, Dylan Moore. Take your 30 seconds, settle down. Something might open up, gives your defence a chance to strengthen up, take a breath.
Where do you look to aim here, Hawk? Deep in the pocket at Marble.
If he's going straight at it, he's got no wind to be bothered by, but he might put it to the top of the square.
Drifts out, opens it up. It's a touch narrow.
Seen a couple of those ones, Hawks, where players come out to the right-hand side and sort of get it a bit shallow and it goes hard left.
I always thought one of the most crucial things about goal kicking was keeping your alignment straight, Jack.
Harms goes up, competes, kept it alive. Morrison picked his pocket. Underground handball. Jaff flings it. Umpire said it was out of play when he flung it.
There is Sam Darcy. Great to see him back next week. At one point it looked like a knee operation, and then he could be playing next week, which would be fantastic for the Code. Exciting young forward. Hawks pressing. Remarkable, really, Jack, from the injury and what we were thinking, and the short turnaround.
The scenes that we saw as well.
Yep.
Like you just thought it was season done, but looks like he's going to be having an impact again, and an impact that the Dogs are needing at the moment. They're number one scoring team in the competition, and with 10 minutes 30 to go in this last quarter, only 51 points. So credit to the Hawthorn defence as well. So we know the Dogs can score fast, so they're not at full roll the dice mode yet, but as the seconds tick away, they have to start to think about it.
Spot on. It's getting dangerously late now. Morrison back into a jam. Umpire said play on. Dale, Harms, Richards, wide, too wide, Bramble. Can't do something with that. We'll get another ball in. Dogs have played finals 5 of the last 6 seasons under that man Luke Beveridge. 7 of the 10 seasons so far under him. They've played finals, including the 2016 flag. If they lose this, they won't be in the 8 tonight.
Bont bursting off the stoppage with a high ball towards centre wing. Lob, Weddle out the back of everybody. Davidson can't pick it up. Mitchell tries to scoop it back to his team's advantage. This is a big ball to be won in the middle of Marvel Stadium. McGuinness, big body over the top.
The Dogs players is getting past the line of the ball. Make sure that if you're in that first contest there after the ball hits the ground, you've got to be clean.
Treloar, time is of the essence now. Overcooked the pass, and it rolls to the boundary line. Ball in, and we're down to 9 minutes and 50 for the big comeback, and there is just Anthony Albanese watching on.
Having a beer at the footy, how good's that from our Prime Minister?
It is true. Not going to scull it on cue, but at least he is having some fun.
I think he's going full Bob Hawke at the cricket. Bontempelli trying to do something as his English, little toe poke forward.
17-21 in their last game down the Cattery. 7-10 tonight. They've had some easy ones too, the Dogs. It could be a lot closer than the 26-point margin that it is at the moment.
Got to give the Hawks a lot of credit, though. They have been intense from the It's been a evening at the office for the Dogs. He'd be gathered, got a little roller. McDonald, this will work. To Moore, Dig Inovan. They're having some fun. Back to Moore, back to Impey, back towards Moore. A roller, wants to keep it alive. Almost got one high. Impey flicks it further on. Taking to the line, it's Ginnivan, but more seconds elapse.
They continue to win crucial contests ahead of the ball, Hawthorn. They've been brilliant at it, outnumbered at times, looking to chain the ball and just take territory, which has been an important part of the game.
Highlight Ginnivan, Jack, and the increased role he's playing. 2 goals and 23 disposals tonight. Once again amongst the Hawks' best after he was their best last week against his former side. Davidson, Norton.
Rooney's got the perfect role model for that too, Howie, in Dylan Moore. He's a premier half forward in the competition, Dylan Moore, and the way he holds himself. A great role model for Jack Ginnivan.
He's extremely fit too, does Jack. Lob, movers to send him forward, was good. Butler stripped of it. Fraser gets through the tackle. Here's an opportunity for the Dogs to bring one back through Williams. Kick their opener. Hand pass gets to Kennedy eventually. Back to Williams. Fashion something inside. Norton. Rare bit of space. Off one step. Jath's got about 3 to beat. And Buku has played the mark. Whistle took a while, but it eventually came. Needs to get on with this, bang it through.
Well, you have it the whole way down. Oh, you pay that. The 3v1. But you're right, he's taking his time here, Buku. Countdown clock's at 9.
He's lost about 35 seconds in the interim. Simply must kick it. Buku, 9-3 for the season. Should be right from here. Life for the Dogs.
Well, there is life, Howie. And I think that we know #1 scoring team in the competition. And this was just a bit of a chaos ball that went to the top 3v1. And Buku Kama started as a back early in his career. He's gone forward again out of necessity of not having Sam Darcy and Jamari Ugle-Hagan. He's shown a bit up forward. Certainly not a second key forward, I don't think so. They'll be looking, obviously, to get Darcy back next week, but it could be that third foil. And the Dogs can score quickly. So from a Hawthorn point of view, I think getting hold of the ball and controlling it, taking seconds off the clock, critical in the next 2 to 3 minutes.
I saw Sam Mitchell coming down to the bench. Some scoreboard pressure now. Dogs get the goal they needed. Vandermeer had a sneaky chance at it. Newcomb, aim on. Little fumble, collects it, feeds it. Newcomb turned in, then turned out, and then found his target. Ward, spectacularly good. Ward looks around. Little netball step, goes back. Hold possession. That might be the mode. Newcomb to Ward. Hold possession. More seconds off the clock.
Coming up for his 28th, Ward. He's had a good night. Now, pulls the trigger. Shallow entry inside 50. Big Maxi Ramsden stands up. Everyone tells him to calm down. I don't know if that's because they think he can lob at 55 or they want him to use a bit of time off the clock.
Well, I think it's going to be a bit of both, Howie. I don't know if he's got the distance. I'd be surprised, but his teammates seem pretty comfortable in the fact that he can get the distance, but equally takes a bit of time off the clock. Something might open up late. Dylan Moore's got a heap of space here in the forward pocket in front of him, mate. They may look to use that.
Ramsden, one opportunity tonight he missed. Runs out, real up and under. It'll land in a dangerous area and Long kills it, but valuable time departs off the clock.
There's a nice contested mark there from Max Ramsden as well. You're right, Howie, 30 seconds off the clock.
So down the spine that travel, lob. Thumped away by Weddle. Mitchell hunted down, flicks it inside 50. McGuinness hands it up. Moore, 3-metre kick. Weddle lays the tackle. The hold it in the area.
That's the other thing you want to do if you're Hawthorn is that you want to keep it in close to the Bulldogs. So many numbers around this stoppage. You've got to spread out.
Kennedy keeps it in front. Whips it out to Treloar. Opportunity now for Williams. Not much ahead of the footy, which is why he goes up and under. Barris will fancy himself. Giath drifts to the front of the contest. Hawks again will look to hold it in and soak up time.
Feeling in the crowd. I know this one's not over yet. Hawks have fought hard all night. They've led all night. I can see the finish line, but they haven't quite got to it yet. Handball out in the Bramble direction. Hunted down. Pull up.
They've just been relentless, Hawthorn, tonight with their pressure. Just being able to close down on the ball carriers. The Bulldogs taking out the options for them to use by hand.
Meek. Hawks get it to Newcomb. Up to disposal 26. He'll probably turn that one over. Gathers ground.
O'Donnell with the kick. Sam Mitchell with the pats on the backside as they come on and off. Spear inside to Bontempelli. The Bont goes. Hands to Dale. Outside of the boot kick might work. Vandermeer. Sanders. Back inside to the Bont. All the way back to Frazier. This is the kick though. Up they fly, off hands, huge crumb to win. Libba was down there, he just couldn't quite reach it. Hardwick, wrapped up, ball up.
That's the sign of what the Bulldogs have done all night. 3 players at the front of the contest, but all way too close.
Hawthorn skipper watching on, a couple of weeks out with injury. Kennedy tries to burst through. Opportunity for the Dogs to space. Jath, since he's come on, he's picked up the footy and used speed immediately. Now he is Impey. The Hawks can run forward to the footy. He's got McGuinness. Again, happy to just take that extra step or two. Sends it forward to Gunston. Good mark. He will take time too. So the Hawks soaking up time.
James.
Looking to finish the game.
Jarman Impey's been fantastic. He's moved to half forward in this last quarter. 8 touches, leading all comers from 3 inside 50s and a goal.
Gunston, high ball. Charles kicked 4. He's got 3 to beat. And Kennedy is the winner.
4 minutes and change.
There's not much urgency here from the Bulldogs.
4 minutes, 4 goals. That's the equation. A spear in Bont's direction, cut off by Big Lloyd. He can take his 30 here. He's almost close enough to convince the umpire that he's having a shot. Yep. Nice work, Lloyd. Tick, tick, tick. Will he have a crack or just top of the square?
He might kick it to
some teams kick it to the pocket as well. Just get a ball in. Big Lloyd into the man on the mark. That wasn't the plan. Kennedy behind the back. Unbelievable. D'Ambrosio turns inside. McDonald. It's been amazing, this turnaround in form by Hawthorn. They've come into tonight off the back of 3 losses in a row. Some of their guns out. Sicily, Day, Watson. This season looked on the ropes. Sam Mitchell, the super coach. McDonald from just inside the arc. Still 4 goals, that's the equation, but probably not time enough, you wouldn't think.
Will Day doing some work there on the right of screen. The injured Hawk. One of the Hawks would love him back out there. Lob, being good. Vandermeer, Jack provides the spoil. Back on the footy. Happy to see it across the line.
This is an excellent defensive game from the Hawthorn Football Club. They've really put one of the best, or the best, offensive team to the sword tonight.
Shut down some of their big playmakers. Maybe a coach in the making. Got some guns out. So too, the Dogs. They've obviously not got Sam Darcy out there. Want to have Cody Waitman, who's out for the year. Jamara back in training, but who knows? As Marcus Bontempelli lays the tackle, but holding the ball. Down to 2 minutes and about to send it forward the ball.
Champ does just that. Oh, Newcomb just floats up and takes a one-hander. Takes the bounce. Little punch kick forward. Impey, as we heard, it's been good from Jack McDonald. Bit of space out the back. Impey continues to run. Waits for the bounce. Can he conjure something from the boundary line? Impey centering ball to a dangerous area. Chol, Jath. Chol provides the Shepherd. Jath, an unlikely move forward. But Bontempelli arrives as he so often does.
It's only Marcus Bontempelli at the moment from the Bulldogs. He looks like the only one that can get the ball and even try and win this game.
24 possessions for the Bont. Rory Lobbs tried his heart out. Good grab. Defender sent forward, heads wide to Buku. Barra started all this. Dominant with his intercept marking early on in this contest. And Luke Beveridge Has to hope they can resurrect their season in the second half of it, the Dogs. As I mentioned, finals 5 of the last 6 seasons under Bevo, but they're out of the 8 right now. They needed this win desperately. Big Lloyd's been great. Hands it off. Almost gave that to Kennedy so they could tackle him from the scramble. D'Ambrosio went in, Libba went in, Richards went in. Williams gave the Dale, shrugs, launches long. Lob's got 3 to beat. Weddle flies, Barris flies, ball hits the deck. Buku, can he get it off? No. Ball.
Well, it started with pressure, and it's going to finish with pressure as well. That is just the way that Hawthorn have played tonight.
What questions will the Dogs be asking themselves tonight after 2 losses, going into St Kilda next Thursday night?
Oh, plenty. They're plenty. Are they the side that we thought they are?
Floating across the pack, a couple of Hawks. More. And what has impressed you about the Hawks tonight, Tom?
Oh, just their ferociousness around the footy. They've looked really solid down back. Brass and Battle and CJ when he's come on. They've all played their part. I thought defensively it's been a really, really sound performance.
Coach looks on from the bench. And after a tough week for him and his side, Ginnivan, another good night. Vandermeer, a couple of goals.
It's going to be fascinating watching the press conference and see how the coaches have seen the game. That'll be with the crew after here with Sarah Jones. Oh, I just can't wait to hear what Sam Mitchell says about his boys.
You'll see it all post-game with Fox. Williams kicked the opener for the Dogs. Hardwick with a big spoil to see it across the line. Bit of a smile from the coach. Impey will have the final play of the evening. Hawks, after 3 straight losses, get the win they so desperately needed. They consolidate their spot in the 8. And once again, they are a happy team at Hawthorn. 22-point winners over the Dogs. Hawks by 24 at quarter time. 5 goal to 1 term, set it up 23 at half time, 16 at 3/4 time. 2 goals to 1 in the final term, 12-9-81 to the Dogs, 8-11-59. Vandermeer kicked a couple, as did Lott. Marbior Chol, the star up forward for the Hawks with 4. Jack Rewalt, Tom Hawkins.
Well, I think if Sam Mitchell gets the whiteboard and writes one number up, it's 155. That was the pressure from last week against the Collingwood Football Club, who we think are the best team in the competition. And tonight, 2.02. That is a dramatic shift in attitude, a shift in mindset, and a shift in the fact that they just wanted to put the pressure on Hawk. It was evident that they came to bring that tonight.
Oh, and it was all over the ground, but for me, Jackal was in the middle. I mean, I look at John Newcomb's game. He's had the 27 disposals. He's had the 10 clearances, 6 tackles. But, I mean, what I was worried about tonight was how the Bulldogs were going to get the ball from the inside to the out and just be too quick and get too many inside 50s. But he was enormous. He was brutal. He was big. He was strong. And it was an impressive performance right across the ground.
And it was the worry going in there for them as well. We spoke about the star-studded lineup in the middle 4. The Bulldogs, and we thought potentially that's the area that they could get them. But they were led well down back. It was Tom Barris. And one man who's down with Cam Mooney, who was sensational behind the ball and had plenty of intercepts.
Yes, Jackie was. Josh, Jack was just talking about the way you guys defended the night. You were sensational behind the ball, but you've kept the best scoring team in the competition to 59 points. Talk us about that.
Yeah, we really wanted to focus on our front half game. And yeah, I think our defence has lacked a bit of effort and energy in the last few weeks. And yeah, it was a big focus this week and it clearly showed.
You got, I guess from a media point of view, everyone had a crack at you about your defensive side of things, your tackling or lack of. tonight, the one percenters, the little things, it just seemed like that was a massive focus.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, we brought in a few guys that have been doing it week in and week out in the VFL, like Sam Butler. He brought a lot of energy tonight. It was good to see him back out here. It's been a long year and a bit for him. So, and then obviously throughout the week we focused on tackling and bringing the pressure.
How important is it for someone like Butler to come back into the team?
Yeah, it was good. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of vibrancy, and his overall good character. So it's good to see him back out here.
Josh, you talk about your goal through the middle of the ground here. I mean, I thought you set the game up pretty early for your football club. But talk us about that goal through the middle here.
One of my focuses was tough in attacking, and that showed my attacking side through that. And obviously the boys put a lot of trust in me to take the game on, and I just did that, and I thought, why not give it a crack from outside 50?
That's a nice pick, let me tell you. What about the big boy up forward, Marbio? He was outstanding tonight for you boys.
Yeah, he was. He brings a lot of contest, and obviously had a big fall and got back up. So it's good that he got back out here, and I love the way he goes about it.
It was a little bit niggly tonight at some stage. I see Jack had a couple of words with a few people.
I didn't see that.
So just Jack.
Yeah, I didn't actually see that, but obviously, very happy with the performance, and we look very excited for next week against Adelaide.
Oh my, go and enjoy it, Jesse. Run on, brother.
55 straight games since his debut, 18 disposals, ripping goal, and he is the athletic one, that man.
And he's got the number to go with it, 23. It's one of the most famous numbers at the Hawthorn Football Club. I thought Josh Ward was fantastic tonight as well, and a man that we spoke about in the broadcast a lot, boys, is this man down with Cam Mooney, who's grown up in front of our eyes and becoming one of the key players for the Hawthorn Football Club.
Well, Jack, what an outstanding performance from you guys. Let's talk about defensively. I mean, to keep these guys down to 59 points, we know what a great attacking team they are, but you boys just brought the heat early tonight.
Yeah, it was all about pressure for us, and I think the mids were really good in there. Obviously, Nuke and Nashi, their pressure points was through the roof. And Butsy, first game in this year after a broken leg, did fantastic, and then our backs are just amazing. They get a bit of flack recently, but I reckon they're outstanding. So, they're going really well.
What about you? What about your own game at the moment, Jack? I mean, the last couple of weeks have just been absolutely brilliant. So, your own form, talk us about that.
It's always good to come back in after a little bit of stint in the VFL, and I got a lot of stuff on the off-field sorted, and then came back in and have been playing some reasonable footy, and it's all off the back of that. And I've got an amazing line coach, Adrian Hickman, and Sam Mitchell, who back me all the time, so it's good.
What about this forward line? I mean, Charles tonight was outstanding, you were outstanding, but this forward line just seemed to click tonight.
Yeah, look, we've all been chucked together obviously last year, and it still takes time to get really connected. But yeah, Charlie was amazing. Even Maury, 26, I think he had a goal. So it's really starting to gel, and we just need to keep going.
Was there a little bit of spite tonight? Because I love the fact you ran into an open goal and just showed it a little bit. There was a couple of words tonight.
A few with Harmsy, and then last quarter I was trying to keep Dale to not many, so giving it to him a little bit, and Liver always a little bit of chirp, but it's easy to chirp when you're up, so yeah, it's a bit of fun.
Right on, mate. Go and enjoy. You're playing great footy.
Which was enough.
This is Thursday Night Footy on Fox, brought to you by the new Ranger plug-in hybrid. The Hawks arrest a 3-game losing streak to beat the Western Bulldogs, keeping the top-scoring team in the competition to just 59 points. Jason Dunsell, David King and Joey.
All right, there we go, folks. Well, the Hawks did it. The Hawks did it. The Bulldogs just couldn't arrest that scoreline. 12-9-81. Hawthorn, the Bulldogs. 8-11-29, that's right. 21 scoring shots to 19. 22 points the margin. The Hawks. Well, and King Steve, the Hawks are back. Eddie G's happy. The Freo is still in the top 8, of course. But what a fantastic game. That's what, the Hawthorn fans would be loving to see. Hawthorn back. 4 quarters of football they played, put the pressure on, they got the speed on. They got pretty much it all right tonight, the Hawks. And they were fantastic out there. Of course, the Bulldogs, well, I know they looked a little bit flat, a little bit flat-footed occasions, but we know they're better, and we know they'll bounce back. But geez, I tell you what, our poll tonight, they had 60% for the Dogs and 40% for the Hawks. We got that one wrong. That's all right. There's always tomorrow night. There's always tomorrow night. We'll try and get that one. But it was good to see the Hawks back playing where we know they can be, and that's playing 4-quarter football. It was just a great spectacle tonight. A good tussle between these two fantastic teams out there at the moment. Let's just have a look at the goal scorers before we wrap it up. Of course, Moab Chol there tops the table. 4 goals there for the Hawks. He did fantastic. He was brilliant tonight. I really liked the way he played. Jack Ginnivan got 2. Josh Weddle got 1. A beautiful run out of the centre. Bang! From inside 50. Ran, took a couple of bounces, slotted it through. John Newcomb, Connor Nash, Connor McDonald all ended up with 1. And Jarman Impey, Jack Gunston rounds it out for the Hawks. For the Bulldogs, Vandermeer ended up with 2. The only multiple goal scorer there for the Doggies. Bailey Williams, Ed Richards, Rory Lobb, Kumas Kennedy and Harms were the other singles for the Bulldogs. Disposal getters, let's have a look. Only one disposal getter in the 30s tonight. Of course, that was Bailey Dale for the Doggies. 22 kicks, 8 handballs. There we go, 6 marks. Matty Kennedy, 29, next best on the table. 4 clearances and a goal. Best for the Hawks, Josh Ward, of course, there with 28, 4 clearances. Nice game. John Newcomb, 27, Dylan Moore, 26. The Bont ended up with 24. Well, that's just, it was just a performance by the Bont. He tried his heart out, but with his 9 clearances, just couldn't do enough for the Doggies. As I said, Ginnivan with 23. Adam Treloar, not a bad return with 20 for the Dogs. Let's just roll on down. Josh Weddle, 18, 13 kicks with that 1 goal there. Who else have we got for you? Rory Lobb was in it a little bit there for the Doggies. Had a few shots, missed a couple, 15, 10 kicks. 1 goal, 2 for him. Libble was quiet, just with his 14 touches, well held tonight. There we go. Gunston. Well, Gunston was a bit quiet too. Just got a handball received goal, just for his only goal for this evening, just for his 9 touches and 9 kicks. 11 touches, 9 kicks. But Moab Chol was fantastic for the Hawks tonight. I think he could have been pretty much the difference in the Hawks and the Dogs tonight. He was spectacular when he needed to be, kicking 4 straight goals, handing off another couple. He was instrumental in Hawthorn's win tonight. Let's just have a quick look at the... I think we've missed the theme song. Hang on.
It was...
All right, so we just missed the Hawks theme song. Sorry about that, folks. The disposal count for the team, 349, 374, plus 25 there to the Hawks. The kicks, there we go, about plus 30 to the Hawks. The Dogs had a few more handball. Inside 50s, 43. So, as I said, the Hawks defence, etc., midfield, they kept it really low for the Doggies, 43. 57 their average, so it was great to see there. And, of course, the Hawks, 58, going above their average there. The disposal efficiency, Hawks not too bad, 73. Dogs a little bit below. Free kicks, well, it was the Dogs ended up on top there, 15 to 10. I think from memory it was about 5 apiece at half time. There we go. The hit-outs, Hawks well and truly on top there by 15. But the Dogs in the clearances in all departments, plus 6 in the clearances, plus 3 in the centre clearance, and of course plus 3 in the stoppage clearances. Contested possession, well, pretty contested game, all pretty tied up there. Uncontested, the Hawks plus 24 and plus 18 in the marks. Marks inside 50, well, both teams got pretty much pretty similar, 10-13. Contested was about the same, 12 to 15. Hawks favour as well. The tackles are really good, 38 for the full game last week. The Hawks, 82 this week. And you can see their pressure, their intensity, their hunger for tonight's game. Knowing what was at stake, they certainly lifted. And, of course, the Dogs had 73 tackles, which is a fair bit above their average. So they did quite well as well. And, of course, tackles inside 50, Dogs did well, 9 in the second half. Hawks 13 overall, so that is fantastic. Let me see if this live ladder is loaded up. There is the live ladder now. So Hawthorn, they stay in 6th position, but the important thing is 4 points. They are a game clear now of the GWS Giants and Fremantle with just percentage. And, of course, the Bulldogs, well, I'll tell you what, they need to start and put a few wins now coming into the second half of the season, sitting after playing 12 games. 6-6, 24 points outside of the top 8 now. They could have gone inside had they have won tonight. They would have jumped right up to 6th spot, but Hawthorn take that spot. But it was another fantastic game of football, folks. Game of football. Thanks, M. King, for dropping on in. Addy G. Cheers. 3B. Good man. Tina, the Aussie. Mohamed Memes. Good stuff. Liam Toast. Everyone else who joined us. We appreciate it. Thanks, Steve. Hawks are back. They are back and they look back. Hey, don't forget, tomorrow night, folks, tomorrow night we've got another big game coming up your way. I tell you what, this is going to be another ring-a-ding-ding game coming to you from Adelaide Oval. 7:40 p.m. tomorrow night. Adelaide taking on Brisbane Lions. That is a fantastic game. Let's just have a look and see where they're on the ladder. Adelaide sitting 3rd. Brisbane sitting 2nd. Tell you what, this would be a nice game for Adelaide to win, especially if you cheer on Collingwood. You want to keep that half a game margin. But that's a game, well, anyone could win. That's a game that Adelaide, well, I think Adelaide will go into that game favourite, playing at Adelaide Oval. So that's what's coming up tomorrow night, Friday night football. Adelaide taking on the Brisbane Lions. It's going to be a fantastic game. And of course, don't forget Richmond, Sydney, Geelong Gold Coast, which is going to be another barnstorming game. GWS Giants versus Port Adelaide on Saturday. And of course, Sunday, North Melbourne versus West Coast. Carlton versus Essendon. Melbourne versus Collingwood on Monday. King's Holiday. Should be a fantastic. The Big Freeze on Monday, so it should be a great game. Anyway, folks, that's all I've got for this time, this one around, this game. Whew, tell you what, it was an exciting game. Hawks are dominating. We thought the Dogs were coming back at the when the three-quarter siren came. As I said, it all depended who was going to get those opening couple of goals in that final term. And of course, it was the Hawks, and that was enough. And they regained the momentum and saw out this match this evening by 22 points. By 22 points, another fantastic game. All right, folks, hey, that's all I got for this one tonight. Thanks, everyone, for coming, tuning in for the coverage. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Until next time, tomorrow night, 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time, where Adelaide take on Brisbane Lions. Ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.